I cannot claim that I know everything, but yes, I'm putting my effort for ensuring success of these kind of hydroponic ventures, because in past few years, the hydroponics is gaining popularity among Indian population also, and specifically the urban population. And no doubt, it is going to be a future of our country, not only country, the globe. With those words, I want to just share my knowledge, whatever so far I gain out of my professional journey with everybody, and want to take this privilege or this effort of one and means quarter 1 point something like a 1 and a quarter around 1.5 hours with you guys, and want to leverage and have a dialogue instead of a monologue. So I want to start with, if somebody can share their understanding about what is hydroponics and what specifically they are looking for, because today I'm going to talk about fertilizer management in hydroponics. So as it is a heart, and the grower need to understand the pulse of the heart, and those who understand that, they have a potential to leverage, to ensure success of a hydroponics. So with those words, I would prefer to have an interaction with participants, trying to understand that what is your understanding about and what you are expecting out of this 1.5 hour. So any of the participants who want to share his experience or his curiosity or his expectation, it will be good to start with. So I'll wait for any of the participants who want to just speak on hydroponics, their understanding. I would request the organizer to allow somebody who is raising their hand for sharing their experience on this hydroponics. Yes, I'm waiting for that.
पार्टिसिपेंट्स को अलाउ कर दो, पार्टिसिपेंट्स को अलाउ कर दीजिए. Any participant, if he give some information about their experiences with respect to the hydroponics, please.
Yes, और या उसमें कोई ऐसा नहीं है कि लैंग्वेज का कोई बैरियर है, हिंदी, अंग्रेजी, इवन थोड़ा थोड़ा पंजाबी भी. सो व्हाटएवर जो भी भाषा में कोई बोलना चाहता है, बट मैं यही चाहता हूं कि जो ये टाइम हमारा और आपका दोनों का है, उसको हम एफिशिएंटली यूटिलाइज कर सकें. If nobody is speaking, we have to ask a specific person to just speak out, because I want to make it dialogue, not the monologue. So I'm stopping screen and I'll maybe ask a specific person to speak about, because see, I can speak non-stop on the topic for as long as you want, but I want to just go for something specific, dialogue kind of a thing. So Akshit is a guest. I don't know if Akshit, you can unmute yourself and speak. Akshita, sorry. Akshita, can you hear me? Hello? Akshita, I want you to speak about hydroponics. Hydroponics के बारे में कुछ बताइए. Yeah, anybody else want to just speak on?
Anil. Anil.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, Rupa Ujjwal, can you speak?
कर रखा है लाओ तो तब से ही बननी नहीं के
Yeah, Rupa, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good morning, all of you.
Very good
Myself,
morning.
Rupa Ujjwal, from College of Horticulture and Forestry, Jhalawad, MSc Fruit Science student. The term hydroponics firstly derived from two Greek words like hydro and ponos. Means hydro means water and ponos means labor. And the father of hydroponics is Dr. Williams F. Greek from the University of California, USA. And the hydroponics commercialization in started from 1916 to 1970s. Hydroponics means growing plants in the media in soilless culture. In this soilless culture, techniques included like Nft, nutrient field technique, tube, tube culture, and aeroponics. And in India, firstly, it is introduced in Darjeeling district of West Bengal. And drip culture is also known as sand culture. Hydroponics have divided in three methods like water culture, drip culture, and gravel culture. And maximum area under hydroponics in country Israel. And first crop raised in hydroponics is tomato.
That's great.
Suitable
That's great, Rupa. अगर मैं देखूं तो मतलब पूरी तरीके से हाइड्रोपोनिक्स के बारे में हिस्ट्री कहाँ से शुरू हुआ क्या है ग्रीक वर्ड या इट्स रियली गुड गुड टू हियर दैट यू गाइस आर हैविंग बड़ा अच्छा नॉलेज है एनीबॉडी एंड रूपा कैन यू जस्ट एक्सप्रेस कि आप क्या आज जानना चाहोगे उसमें थोड़ा सा और
Sir, I want to know which crop is mostly used in hydroponics.
मींस कौन कौन सी क्रॉप इसमें ग्रो की जा सकती है Yeah, that's good. Anyone else want to just speak? कोई और बोलना चाहेगा बहुत अच्छा रूपा ने बताया क्या कहते हैं आपका पूरा theoretical knowledge she has shared that whatever she learn out of their course that's really good. I think Puspender is want to say something. पुष्पेंद्र जी आप बोलना चाह रहे हैं या
हेलो गुड मॉर्निंग सर
गुड मॉर्निंग या पुष्पेंद्र बताइए
सर माय नेम इज वैभव मड़ावी
ओके या गो अहेड
as you ask what you all are expecting so my expectation is that sir means I am from engineering background but I want to know if as this hydroponic term indicates that it's a farming without a soil and this different techniques so I want to learn from this webinar that means if I want to do farming so how this webinar will help for my farming
ओके दैट्स गुड सो जरूर हम आपको बताएंगे कि किस तरीके से आपको हाइड्रोपोनिक आपकी फार्मिंग में हेल्प कर सकता है डेफिनेटली यस इट इज वन ऑफ द पार्ट बिकॉज आजकल जो कॉमर्शियल वेंचर्स आ रहे हैं इन एंड अराउंड अर्बन सिटीज दैट इज समहाउ प्राउडली सेइंग कि मैं हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में खेती कर रहा हूं आई एम डूइंग द ग्रोइंग सो वो डेफिनेटली इज पॉसिबिलिटी और उसके अंदर जो उसका हार्ट है क्रॉप में न्यूट्रिएंट मैनेजमेंट या फर्टिलाइजर मैनेजमेंट उस पे आज हम लोग बात करेंगे सो या एनीबॉडी एल्स वांट टू शेयर समथिंग और shall I start? Okay, so that's good. I would request anybody, any participants.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Go ahead.
Sir, my name is Anantram Singh.
Yeah, Anant.
MSc AG Horticulture
Yes.
from Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel University of Agriculture and Technology, Meerut, Uttar Pradesh.
Good.
Sir, my question है कि सर हम ऑर्गेनिक कल्टीवेशन हाइड्रोपोनिक्स से कैसे कर सकते हैं सर?
गुड अनंत, इस पे भी बात करेंगे
जी सर।
और इसमें मे बी हम क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन में इसको उठाएंगे, बिकॉज ये एक बहुत ही हॉट टॉपिक है हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में, कि हाइड्रोपोनिक्स को हाइड्रोपोनिक ऑर्गेनिक प्रोड्यूस माना जाता है या नहीं माना जाता है. सो वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड लिटिल बिट, बिकॉज नाउ हाइड्रोपोनिक्स एंड ऑर्गेनिक इन इंडिया स्टिल अगर बोला जाए तो ऑर्गेनिक पे कैटेगरी में नहीं आता है. But in part of Europe, they have already considered this produce as an organic produce. But yeah, we'll discuss more during the question answer session.
हेलो, गुड मॉर्निंग सर.
Yeah, good morning.
थैंक यू सर.
सर मैं संजय बोगना टिहरी गढ़वाल उत्तराखंड से बात कर रहा
That's great. Good. ठंडी जगह से.
हूँ जी. थैंक यू सर. सर मैं ये जानना चाह रहा हूँ, जैसे हम अभी तो हम पॉली हाउस में कर रहे हैं, पर अगर हम हाइड्रोपोनिक में करना चाहें तो कितना छोटे लेवल से हम शुरू कर सकते हैं कम से कम?
आप डेफिनेटली मेरे को इसको क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन में बात करेंगे, और इसमें कुछ एक स्टेप्स होता है जो कि आज के टॉपिक में हम कवर नहीं कर रहे हैं, बट यू कैन एनी टाइम रीच टू मी एंड वी कैन डिस्कस ऑन दिस. बट क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन में वी कैन टेक अप दैट कि कितना छोटे से शुरू करना चाहिए और क्या प्रोसेस है डूइंग दिस कमर्शियल हाइड्रोपोनिक, बिकॉज दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड. ठीक है
जी. थैंक यू सर.
So
थैंक यू.
we'll take up in that question answer session. Okay, so I really happy that people are participating, and वही एक सबसे बड़ा चीज होता है कि अगर हम कहीं पे कुछ सिखाना चाहते हैं या सीखना चाहते हैं तो सबसे पहले अपनी इच्छा जाहिर करनी होती है और सीखने के लिए विलिंगनेस होनी चाहिए. So आज जो बात करने हम लोग जा रहे हैं, I'll just mention that I'm going to use English because means we as in a country, majorly Hindi speaking country, plus yeah, I'll also consider that some of the participants from southern part of a country, so non-Hindi speaking. So my language is going to be the English, Hindi and English mix. So today we are going to touch the hydroponic, because so far what we understand hydroponic is going to be a future. Whoever they speak about this hydroponic, or whoever come in contact or understand this concept, they outrightly say that this is going to be the future. But yes, it is not going to replace the traditional farming, but it is going to have a significant chunk under this urban farming or hydroponics. And within that, as a grower, if you can efficiently manage the fertilizer or the nutrition part, because for us also, if we are managing well nutrition for our body, we'll be healthy. And similarly, if we can ensure a better fertilizer management, which is again the nutrition part, 80% of your battle is done. So today we are going to touch that heart of hydroponics, which is nutrient management. So we are at the end, we are also wanted to have some volunteer with whom we can do a hands-on for designing your own fertilizer recipe. So आज का जो knowledge sharing session है, या जो हम I want to share my experience on, that will be some of the basics of hydroponics, means what is hydroponics, why hydroponics is required. So these are the two things which one need to answer before accepting that, yeah, this is the good technology. Then I'll just move to the basic concept of a plant nutrition, which is equally important in traditional farming as well as in hydroponics. So that is going to give you the basics for how you can ensure efficient management of nutrient in hydroponic, because hydroponic is one of the most efficient growing system available on earth. Yes, it is one of the most efficient, where all the resources are being utilized at its max of potential. और आज जब भी बात करते हैं हम, तो अगर आप किसी भी चीज का पोटेंशियल अच्छे से यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं तो डेफिनेटली उसका रिटर्न अच्छा आता है. So I'll just share some of the thought process on different concept of plant nutrition, because that is very important. If you are though you guys have understand, and everybody who are in agriculture field, they are aware, they are exposed to these concepts, but I like to highlight again and how it is going to be utilized for hydroponics, that we are going to discuss. And then there is essential plant nutrients, all those essential plant nutrients and their role. Because until and unless you understand the role of every nutrient, you cannot adjust your recipe. Because if you see, like in traditional farming also, there are different split application of fertilizer, but majorly the nitrogen. But in hydroponics, you have an opportunity that you can feed your crop as your crop requires. So we are going to discuss a little bit on essential plant nutrients and different roles. And then we will talk on basics of hydroponic crop nutrition. जो hydroponic crop nutrition की जो base बनता है, क्या-क्या चीजें उसमें जरूरत है, उसके बारे में बात करेंगे. And then we will talk on how to design fertilizer recipe for your crop grown in hydroponics. And then, yes, because for any kind of a fertilizer recipe designing for any project or any crop, you need to develop the crop production protocol, which one need to take up in pilot project, and where the person or the grower need to just tweak the nutrient combination, nutrient ratios, उन ratios को कम ज्यादा करके ऑप्टिमल लेवल पे पहुंचने की जरूरत है. और वो तब तक नहीं होगा जब तक ग्रोवर को डेफिशिएंसी सिम्टम्स क्लियर नहीं होंगे. और मैं यहां पे ये भी बोलना चाहता हूं कि अगर एक ग्रोवर जो हाइड्रोपोनिक ग्रोवर है वो अपने पौधों से बात करना नहीं सीख पाया, तो वो डिफिकल्ट होता है उसको समझना, उसको उस खेती को अच्छे से करना इज रियली डिफिकल्ट फॉर देम. If I'm mentioning that talking to plant, it doesn't mean the literal talking कि मैं बात कर रहा हूं, हाँ भाई हेलो कैसे हो, not that. As a grower, जब आप अपने growing area में enter करें, as a good grower, you can identify the struggling plant out of 20,000 plants. If one is struggling as a grower, you need to understand, you need to identify that, और उसमें क्यों ऐसा हो रहा है. और जब तक आप उसको कॉज को नहीं समझ पाएंगे, तब तक आप उसका सॉल्यूशन नहीं कर पाएंगे. एंड एफिशिएंट ग्रोइंग इज हाइड्रोपोनिक्स वो तब तक नहीं होगा जब आप डेफिशिएंसी सिम्टम नहीं समझ पाएंगे और उसको ट्रिकिंग नहीं करेंगे. सो वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक लिटिल ऑन डेफिशिएंसी सिम्टम आल्सो. एंड फाइनली I want some volunteer with whom I want to do a fertilizer recipe for any particular crop in hydroponics. So that's the way today I'm going to talk on this whole 1.5 hour or 1.15 means सवा घंटे के इस lecture में यही बातें हम आपसे करेंगे. So as I think the girl who is spoken is rightly said कि भाई hydro and ponas means working with water is hydroponics. And if I talk about growing crop without soil is a well-known definition of hydroponics. कि भाई अगर खेती हम बिना मिट्टी की कर रहे हैं तो उसको हम हाइड्रोपोनिक्स कहते हैं. यहां पे एक चीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है जो हम सभी को समझने की जरूरत है कि भाई हाइड्रोपोनिक की जो टेक्निक है ये केवल जड़ से संबंधित है. यस, अगर हम कहते हैं हाइड्रोपोनिक्स, सो हाइड्रोपोनिक इज ओनली related to the below ground part as per the traditional definition of plant physiology कि भाई प्लांट का कुछ पार्ट जमीन के ऊपर होता है और कुछ जमीन के नीचे होता है. जो जमीन के नीचे होता है वो केवल सांस लेता है and that is root, and hydroponic only restrict with the roots. And there are myths कि भाई नहीं, हाइड्रोपोनिक बिना प्रोटेक्टेड कल्टीवेशन या ग्रीन हाउस के नहीं हो सकता है. Here I want to mention, here I want to emphasize, hydroponic is possible in open area also, because it is the technique which linked with the root. जड़ अगर अच्छा होगा, because जड़ जो है पौधे का सप्लाई सोर्स है. The root is a sourcing point or it's a feeding point for a crop. और अगर मुंह अच्छा होगा, खाने का source अच्छा होगा, तो definitely plant अच्छा होगा. And that's how this technique is superior than any other technique, because आपने जो सप्लाई सोर्स है उसको अच्छा कर लिया, और जब वो अच्छे से खा रहा है तो डेफिनेटली पौधा अच्छा होगा हेल्थ में. और अगर हेल्थ में अच्छा होगा तो उसमें इंसेक्ट अटैक कम होंगे. आप अपने एक्सपीरियंस से देखिएगा, द प्लांट विच आर स्ट्रगलिंग इज ऑलवेज हैव अ हायर रिस्क फॉर अ पेस्ट अटैक वर्सेस द हेल्दी प्लांट. एंड दैट्स हाउ इट इज बीइंग, it's already shared that the crop grown in hydroponics is less prone to the insects and pest. Having said that, again, coming back to the question, what is hydroponics? It is beyond that growing crop without soil. So, according to me, according to my understanding, creating ideal microclimate or climate around the root zone, that is rhizosphere, is hydroponics. अब सवाल आता है कि भाई इसमें आइडियल माइक्रो क्लाइमेट होता क्या है. जैसा मैंने आपको बोला, रूट इज डूइंग द रेस्पिरेशन, एंड फॉर रेस्पिरेशन ऑक्सीजन इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट क्रूशियल कंपोनेंट. सो जड़ के पास हवा का होना एप्रोप्रिएट, जड़ के पास मॉइस्चर होना, जड़ के पास उसका खाना होना, और जड़ के पास ऑप्टिमल टेम्परेचर होना. सो मीन्स हवा, पानी, खाना और टेम्परेचर, दीज आर द 4 पैरामीटर जिसे कि हमें कंट्रोल करना है और जिसे कि हमें आइडियल माइक्रोक्लाइमेट बनाना है. एंड हाइड्रोपोनिक इज गिविंग complete leverage, complete control to create this microclimate around the root zone. So, according to me, hydroponic is nothing but it is a technique which enables the grower to create a better microclimate or an ideal microclimate around the root zone. और अगर जड़ अच्छी, पौधा अच्छा तो प्रोड्यूस ज्यादा, और प्रोड्यूस ज्यादा के साथ साथ क्वालिटी भी अच्छी. और मुझे ये ज्ञान है, ये नॉलेज है कि जब भी हाइड्रोपोनिक की बात की जाती है, इन्हीं सब 4-5 चीजों की बात की जाती है. एंड दैट्स हाउ दिस इज व्हाट इज हाइड्रोपोनिक्स. सेकंड, जो सबसे ज्यादा लोग सवाल पूछते हैं कि भाई कितने तरह के हाइड्रोपोनिक्स होते हैं. कुछ लोग कहते हैं कि हाइड्रोपोनिक वही है जो कि केवल पानी में किया जाता है या न्यूट्रिएंट सॉल्यूशन में किया जाता है. दैट इज अ हाइड्रोपोनिक. बट ग्रेजुअली द अंडरस्टैंडिंग, as I think the girl who was speaking, she mentioned it is different types. But initially people were thinking, the misconception was growing crop only in a nutrient solution is hydroponics, but it is beyond. So let's try to understand. हमने पहले समझा कि भाई what is hydroponics. अब हम ये समझते हैं कि क्या different types के hydroponics होते हैं. तो अगर हम देखें तो हाइड्रोपोनिक्स को 3 तरीके से आप क्लासिफाई कर सकते हो. One is growing condition, second is nutrient circulation, and third is light requirement. And I want to just mention here, this is all out of my own experience. So I own the responsibility that this is the classification given or understand by me while doing my journey of hydroponics. So based on a growing condition, there are 3 types of hydroponic. One is soilless, where we are going to use the growing media. और ग्रोइंग मीडिया कैसा होना चाहिए, क्योंकि ग्रोइंग मीडिया is really a confusing वाला वर्ड होता है. वहां पे ही ज्यादातर डिस्कशन होता है कि हाइड्रोपोनिक ट्रीट किया जाता है नहीं किया जाता है. देयर आर नंबर ऑफ मॉडिफिकेशंस डन कि भाई let's add little compost in it, do something this and that. But yes, soilless hydroponic is using some substrate or a growing media. and only those growing media is considered as hydroponic, which is inert in nature. Inert का मतलब these media, they don't have any potential to supply plant nutrients, because hydroponic में सबसे बड़ा चीज यही होता है कि हम nutrient को grower के हिसाब से, means the पौधा जो होता है, they don't have any liberty or opportunity to go for a junk food. What the grower is feeding, that only the plant need to have. The moment we are adding any kind of a media which is having a potential to supply nutrient, is interfering in the crop nutrition in hydroponics, and that is not considered as a hydroponic until and unless the grower is experienced enough to handle efficiently the whole growing system. अगला सवाल ये आता है कि भाई वो मीडिया क्या है, इनर्ट मीडिया क्या है? तो एक तो सभी को पता है, like cocopeat. Everybody knows about the cocopeat. Everybody knows about, means few of us know about Lika ball, the expanded lightweight clay balls. But एक जो चैलेंज इस इंडस्ट्री में आ रहा है वो यही आ रहा है कि इसमें कॉस्ट ज्यादा होती है, एंड दैट कैन बी मिनिमाइज और ऑप्टिमाइज बाय इंडिजिनाइजिंग दिस टेक्निक. अब इंडिजिनाइजेशन का मतलब क्या है कि जो ये मीडिया होता है, अगर हम कोकोपीट मंगाते हैं तो हमें साउथ इंडिया से हमारे पास नॉर्थ इंडिया में आना होता है. अगर साउथ इंडिया में है इट इज गुड, बट नाउ वो कमर्शियलाइज हो गया है तो इट इज हैविंग अ कॉस्ट. बट यू कैन यूज अ सैंड, means sand, but free from the mud, free from any kind of infection. You can use paddy husk, you can use paddy straw, you can use something kind of a wood ash kind of a things which is not having any potential. So that is a sum of the things I am telling. But yes, as a grower, as a person, as a student, you have to explore कि क्या ऐसा मीडिया है जो ये दो चीजों पे बहुत फुलफिल करता है कि one is a inert, second is holding the moisture. ये दो ही चीजें हैं. अगर ये दो चीजों पे कोई भी मीडिया आपका फुलफिल दो क्राइटेरिया को कर रहा है, that can be used as a growing media in soilless hydroponics. Within soilless hydroponic, if I talk about, the grow bag bhi hai, trenches bhi hai, troughs bhi hai. Like this is here is a trough. This is here is a Dutch bucket. This is a pallet of grow bag. This is an individual grow bag. So all these systems are there. It is available, but based on the requirement. Even in nowadays we are growing our grow bag as a rhizo bag, breathable bag, because ऐसा कोई बैग जिसमें कि हवा आसपास नहीं होती है उसमें थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम होता है क्योंकि उसमें टेम्परेचर फ्लक्चुएशन क्विकली होता है. बट ऐसा बैग, ग्रो बैग, जिसमें कि हवा का एक्सचेंज होता है, उसमें ऑक्सीजन कंटेंट अच्छा होता है और जड़ को अगर ऑक्सीजन मिल रही है तो जड़ अच्छी होती है. सो दैट इज सॉइललेस हाइड्रोपोनिक के डिफरेंट तरीके हैं. देन वेरी वेल एस्टैब्लिश्ड, वेल नोन इज अ न्यूट्रिएंट फिल्म टेक्निक, वेयर एक थिन लेयर ऑफ पानी, न्यूट्रिएंट वाटर एक ग्रो चैनल में आपका कंटिन्यूअसली मूव करता है. अब अगेन इफ आई एम सेइंग कंटिन्यूअसली मूव करता है, इट अगेन द ग्रोवर जो उस खेती को कर रहा है, ही कैन आल्सो ट्विक, बिकॉज पंप चलेगा तो बिजली लगेगी, बिजली लगेगी तो फिर उसमें क्या कहते हैं आपका कॉस्ट आएगी. You as a grower can understand कि भाई ठंड में ऐसा कर सकते हैं कि थोड़ी देर बंद करके थोड़ी देर चला सकते हैं, या रात में पूरा बंद करके रख सकते हैं. All those combinations we need to understand. हम यहाँ पे बता जरूर रहे हैं, बट ये ध्यान रखिएगा कि this need to be standardized as per the project, as per the crop, as per the growing media, because coco peat is one of the growing media which hold maximum moisture. The third is the deep water culture, where the difference between deep water culture and NFT is कि NFT में बहुत thin layer होती है, deep water culture में थोड़ा volume of water ज्यादा होती है, layer की thickness ज्यादा होती है. अब इनमें अगर मैं बात करूं कि इन different crops और different climate में ये अलग-अलग growing system identify करना is really crucial. Like any vine crop or a long duration crop should be grown in soilless hydroponic with substrate, like tomato, cucumber, capsicum, or any long duration crop, be a kind of herbs and all. that the soilless hydroponic is the optimal. Why? Because इसमें लीफ एरिया ज्यादा होता है, एंड लीफ एरिया ज्यादा होता है तो उसमें रूट एरिया ज्यादा, रूट मास ज्यादा होता है, और रूट मास ज्यादा होता है तो रेस्पिरेशन ज्यादा होता है, और अगर रेस्पिरेशन ज्यादा होता है तो ऑक्सीजन की जरूरत ज्यादा होती है। तो सॉइललेस मीडिया में जो डिसॉल्व ऑक्सीजन होती है वो वॉल्यूम वाइज ऑलवेज हायर होती है, बिकॉज स्मॉल पोर्स में वो ट्रैप रहती है। और कोई भी शॉर्ट ड्यूरेशन क्रॉप है जिसका कि रूट वॉल्यूम और रूट मास कम है, दैट कैन बी ग्रोन इन न्यूट्रिएंट फिल्म और डीप वाटर कल्चर। अब यहां इन दोनों को फिर से समझने के लिए, कहीं पे भी अगर टेम्परेचर एक जैसा रहता है, यूनिफॉर्म वेदर रहता है, वहां पे न्यूट्रिएंट फिल्म टेक्निक इज डूइंग बेटर, बिकॉज उसमें जो पानी का थिन लेयर जाता है उस पर टेम्परेचर का इंपैक्ट बहुत तेजी से पड़ता है। और अगर पानी जरा सा भी 2 से 4 डिग्री भी, या 27 डिग्री या 28 या 30 डिग्री के ऊपर जाता है, टेम्परेचर और वाटर में ऑक्सीजन, डिसॉल्व ऑक्सीजन कंटेंट का 36 का आंकड़ा होता है। द मोमेंट water temperature goes up, the oxygen, dissolved oxygen level drastically goes down. और अगर ऑक्सीजन की कमी होती है तो root of plant, they start struggling with the scarcity of oxygen, और जड़ अगर सांस नहीं लेती है तो मरने लग जाती है। And that's how the crop growth impacts, and that's how this nutrient fill technique is preferred or recommended for the area where we have a uniform temperature. But deep water culture is always preferred in the area where we have extreme of temperature, बहुत ज्यादा गर्म भी होता है और बहुत ज्यादा ठंडा। जैसे अगर हम बात करें जिस एरिया में राजस्थान वर्सेस दिल्ली एंड all northern part of country, the deep water culture is preferred because वॉल्यूम ऑफ वाटर ज्यादा होता है, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट जो पानी का डिसॉल्व ऑक्सीजन लेवल होता है उसमें बेटर होता है एनएफटी की जरिए कंपैरिजन में। बट द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, डीप वाटर कल्चर में एल्गी कंट्रोल करना इज रियली डिफिकल्ट, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट it become a challenge for managing well the deep water culture. So people in northern part of country also are opting for short duration crop, the NFT with water cooling system, जहां पे वो पानी को ठंडा करने की मैकेनिज्म लगा के न्यूट्रिएंट फिल्म को यूज कर रहे हैं। न्यूट्रिएंट सर्कुलेशन के बेस पे अगर हाइड्रोपोनिक को देखा जाए तो हाइड्रोपोनिक दो तरीके का होता है। एक ओपन सिस्टम होता है जिसमें जो न्यूट्रिशन इरिगेशन के थ्रू जा रहा है वो ड्रेन आउट हो जाता है, वो लौट के फिर उस सिस्टम में नहीं आता है, रिसाइकल नहीं किया जाता है। दैट इज नोन एज अ ओपन सिस्टम इन टर्म्स ऑफ अ क्रॉप न्यूट्रिशन, एंड द सेकंड इज अ क्लोज सिस्टम वेयर द न्यूट्रिएंट इज कंटिन्यूअसली रिसाइकलिंग, एंड वो उसी में रिसर्कुलेट होता रहता है विद द एडजस्टमेंट ऑफ nutrition or nutrient requirement. And then the last is with the light requirement कि हाइड्रोपोनिक में नेचुरल लाइट एंड आर्टिफिशियल लाइट या इंडोर, ये दोनों तरीके से आप हाइड्रोपोनिक को कर सकते हैं। सो हमने एक तो देखा कि हाइड्रोपोनिक्स क्या है और हाइड्रोपोनिक्स कितने तरीके का होता है। अब अगला सवाल ये आता है, भाई हाइड्रोपोनिक की जरूरत क्यों है? why hydroponic is required? So I'll start with a very simple thing, the human expectation. And the human expectation is a happy family. I think जितने लोग यहाँ पे present हैं, they will just agree to my thought process कि भाई everybody is working for a happy family, and this happy family can be achieved by these three more pillars like financial security, social security, and health security. भाई पैसा अगर आ गया आपके पास, आपकी फैमिली मोर और लेस इज कंफर्टेबल। सोशल, समाज में पहचान बन गई, यू आर मोर और लेस कंफर्टेबल। और अगर आपकी हेल्थ अच्छी है और पैसा भी है और समाज में पहचान भी है, सो ऑब्वियसली द फैमिली इज गोइंग टू बी हैप्पी। सो द एनेबलर, द हेल्थ सिक्योरिटी इज समहाउ लिंक्ड विद दिस खेती बाड़ी। और अगर हम देखें तो हर आदमी आज, जब कोविड की इंटरवेंशन हमारी लाइफ में हुई है, एवरीबडी इज वर्किंग ऑन देयर लाइफस्टाइल, दे आर डूइंग फिजिकल एक्सरसाइज, ब्रीदिंग एक्सरसाइज, एंड दे आर आल्सो पुटिंग देयर एफर्ट, if you remember, healthy environment before COVID also and now also, and then the healthy food. अगर हम देखें, first three can be achieved individually, but last two is required a group effort or mass movement is required, and that's how we are here. And hydroponic is one of its kind, the mass movement in urban society. So this is the thing which is linked with the kheti badi or a growing. So ultimately hydroponics can help to achieve healthy environment and healthy food for everybody. वाई का एक सवाल और भी आता है कि भाई हम खेती बाड़ी को देखें कहां से कहां आज हम पहुंच गए। हमने शुरू किया था हंटिंग एंड गैदरिंग से, फिर हम शिफ्टिंग कल्टीवेशन पे सब्सिस्टेंस एंड आज कमर्शियल फार्मिंग कर रहे हैं। यस, कमर्शियल फार्मिंग हैज गिवन अ लॉट ऑफ गुड थिंग्स, बट अगर हम देखें तो इसने एक और चीज किया है कि जो प्रोड्यूसर है और कंज्यूमर है उसके बीच में बहुत गैप को बढ़ा दिया है। एंड दिस urban farming is going to bridge that gap. And also, if we see the moment COVID entered, that has shaken everybody. Even the farmer were on even on a better part because he was producing, because he was never struggling to get a food for himself. But consumer, there was a threat. And if we look back in this COVID period, this hydroponic technique has taken a shape in our society. Now everybody, means whoever is having a little passion or little closeness with the farming, they are trying to grow some of the crop at their own balcony. And this hydroponic is one of the enabler for that. So अगर आज बात करें हम कमर्शियल फार्मिंग की, कमर्शियल फार्मिंग में हमें एक पर यूनिट एरिया का रिटर्न बढ़ाया, जहां हम नेट इंपोर्टर थे वहां नेट एक्सपोर्टर भी बनाया, क्योंकि आज हम फूड सफिशिएंट हैं मेजरली। अगर हम देखें एक्सेप्ट फ्यू, वी आर अ कंट्री व्हिच इज नेट एक्सपोर्टर एंड is food sufficient. So एक तरफ commercial farming, green revolution has given these results, but other side, what has the negative impact of these? Consumers are suffering. Why? आज अगर मैं बोलूं कि आप जो सब्जी खरीद के ले आ रहे हो, do you know that what you are buying? Do you have any tool to assess the quality of that? Answer is no. And majorly, if we talk about this hydroponics or urban farming, is growing the greens, which is basically grown means vegetable sources of urban population is coming from the peri-urban area. And everybody is aware that the quality of water they are using, quality of pesticide they are using, quality of knowledge to use a pesticide. So we all are aware on that, and we are helpless because we don't have any tool to assess the quality while buying this produce at the shop. Hydroponics is having the potential to give you assured quality produce. As one of our participants were talking on the organic, I would like to take up that here. आज की जो जरूरत है, every customer is looking for a healthy food, and that's how he's opting the organic produce, because he knows the organic is branded or organic is propagated as is a safe produce. I want to take you little further, or just try to understand how this organic farming evolved. Then you will be able to understand the difference between organic and hydroponics. So ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग की जो शुरुआत हुई है, वो शुरुआत वहां से हुई है जब हमने कॉमर्शियल फार्मिंग करनी शुरू कर दी। हमारी मिट्टी में जो न्यूट्रिएंट सोर्स था, जो न्यूट्रिएंट बास्केट था, वो खत्म होने लगा, और जब खत्म होने लगा तो उसमें इम्बैलेंस होने लगा। एंड अ वेरी यूनिक एग्जांपल इज द जिंक डेफिशिएंसी इन अफ्रीकन कॉन्टिनेंट इज because the zinc were deficient in soil and it was translated or just move in a food chain, and that has reflected on humans. So with that thought that, okay, if we want a healthy produce from soil, we need to ensure the availability of balanced nutrition. If we just look the history of Indian farming, also Indian extension agencies, also the more effort and all the effort, I should say, is on balanced use of a nutrition. We humans are really clever. हम रियल में अगर देखें तो हमारी चालाकी या हमारी इंटेलिजेंस इज रियली रियली गुड. उस समय हमने क्या किया कि भाई अगर हम जो फर्टिलाइजर या क्रॉप न्यूट्रिशन का सोर्स है उसको अगर हम ऑर्गेनिक सोर्स से लाते हैं, बाय डिफॉल्ट उसमें माइक्रोन्यूट्रिएंट्स होंगे और बाय डिफॉल्ट आपकी क्रॉप जो प्रोड्यूस होगी उसमें न्यूट्रिएंट डेफिशिएंसी नहीं होगी. एंड दैट्स हाउ पीपल माइग्रेटेड फ्रॉम कमर्शियल टू ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग फॉर इंश्योरिंग द बैलेंस यूज ऑफ बाय डिफॉल्ट बैलेंस यूज ऑफ क्रॉप न्यूट्रिशन. And further, they added the restriction, no harmful chemical. So that is how this organic is. But अगर हम हाइड्रोपोनिक को कंपेयर करें तो हाइड्रोपोनिक में ये दोनों चीजें जो है बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट है, प्रिसीजन एप्लीकेशन ऑफ अ न्यूट्रिशन प्लस least use of a chemical. If we are doing that, then we are producing almost equally safe and healthy food what the people are getting from hydroponic, means organic farming. So this is having the potential of your hydroponics. And yes, अगर आप देखें तो पानी जो है आगे आने वाले टाइम में is going to be a bottleneck for farming, because agriculture में अगर देखें तो बहुत ही the utilization or use of water is really high. We need to ensure the efficiency of water, and the answer is the hydroponics. So if we see, the answer is a farming with higher efficiency. Be a protected cultivation, be a indoor vertical farming, be a hydroponics, be a aquaponics or whatever. But yes, resource utilization efficient होना चाहिए. ये आज की खेती की जरूरत है. हमने देखा कि भाई हाइड्रोपोनिक क्या है, कितने तरह का है एंड व्हाई हाइड्रोपोनिक की जरूरत है. उसके बाद जो सबसे बड़ा मेन इंपॉर्टेंट जो आज का एजेंडा है वो हम क्रॉप न्यूट्रिशन के बारे में बात करेंगे. जैसे हमने यहाँ पे आपको जिस स्लाइड पे ये सिंबल दिख रहा है जहाँ पे कि ट्रेडिशनल फार्मिंग है, मैकेनाइज्ड फार्मिंग है एंड हाईटेक हाइड्रोपोनिक्स भी है, तो ये स्लाइड का कंटेंट वेरी क्लियरली है कि ये इक्वली गुड है ट्रेडिशनल फार्मिंग के लिए भी और इक्वली एप्लीकेबल है हाइड्रोपोनिक और सॉइललेस फार्मिंग के लिए भी. सो एक कॉन्सेप्ट है क्राइटेरिया ऑफ एसेंशियलिटी कि भाई एसेंशियल न्यूट्रिएंट के बारे में बात करते हैं. जैसे ह्यूमन बॉडी के लिए भी एसेंशियल न्यूट्रिएंट है वैसे ही पौधों के लिए भी है, और वही है उनकी एक जो क्राइटेरिया होता है, ऐसे न्यूट्रिएंट जिनके बिना प्लांट अपनी लाइफ साइकिल को पूरा नहीं कर सकता है, उसका डायरेक्ट रोल होता है प्लांट की फिजियोलॉजी में और उसको कोई भी न्यूट्रिएंट रिप्लेस नहीं कर सकता है. ऐसे न्यूट्रिएंट को हम एसेंशियल न्यूट्रिएंट कहते हैं. कई जगह पे ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग में ये बोला गया है कि भाई मिट्टी में 56 या कितने 100 न्यूट्रिएंट होते हैं, बट खेती केवल एसेंशियल न्यूट्रिएंट के बेस पे भी की जा सकती है. और वही है कि हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में जो कॉम्प्लिकेसी है, जो डायनामिक्स है, बिकॉज सॉइल इज अ लिविंग डायनामिक बॉडी, उसमें कई तरह की रिएक्शन होती रहती हैं. या तो उसको अच्छे से समझ लो, अगर वो नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं तो चलो जो हमें पता है उसमें हम खेती करते हैं, एंड दैट इज नोन एज हाइड्रोपोनिक. सो दीज आर द 3 क्राइटेरिया कि अगर कोई ऐसा न्यूट्रिएंट है जिसके बिना प्लांट की लाइफ साइकिल नहीं पूरी हो सकती है और उसको कोई दूसरा न्यूट्रिएंट रिप्लेस नहीं कर सकता है और वो डायरेक्टली फिजियोलॉजिकल एक्टिविटी में प्लांट की इन्वॉल्व है, दैट इज नोन एज एसेंशियल प्लांट न्यूट्रिएंट. दिस इज अ वेल नोन पिक्चर फॉर जो कोई भी अगर एग्रीकल्चर की पढ़ाई कर रहा है उसके लिए ये बहुत ही, मतलब जब मैंने भी पढ़ा था मुझे भी थोड़ा डिफिकल्टी हुई थी इसको समझने में, बट आज जब देखता हूं तो दिस इज वन ऑफ द यूनिक थिंग जिसने भी इसको डिजाइन किया है. आई वुड से कि भाई अगर इसको आप, इट सेज मैं इसको पहले बता देता हूं. Growth is directed not by the total resource available but by the scarce or a minimum resource. जो सबसे कम resource available है उसी पे आपकी क्रॉप की प्रोडक्टिविटी पैदावार डिपेंड करती है. इसको एग्जांपल को अगर हम ऐसा समझें कि एक बोरा है, बोरे में अगर आपका बोरे का डिफरेंट पट्टियों से वो बोरा बना हुआ है कि मींस कैल्शियम का अलग पट्टा है, मैग्नीशियम का अलग पट्टा, नाइट्रोजन, बोरॉन एंड ऑल द फैक्टर्स. तो जो फैक्टर की पट्टी सबसे कम होगी हाइट में, वहीं से आपकी पैदावार नीचे इट्स अ ड्रेनिंग आउट, मींस प्रोडक्टिविटी आपकी उसी फैक्टर पे डिपेंड करेगी. एंड दैट्स हाउ हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में वी नीड टू हैव ऑप्टिमल रिसोर्स, ऑप्टिमल इनपुट, ऑप्टिमल मैनेजमेंट. तभी जाके ये मैक्सिमम का जो पोटेंशियल है यहां तक हम पहुंच पाएंगे. अगर किसी भी एक फैक्टर में ये अगर यहां से, जैसे इसमें यहां से ड्रेन आउट कर रहा है, फास्फोरस की कमी अगर यहां तक हो गई, आपकी यील्ड यहीं से ड्रेन हो जाएगी एंड दिस विल बी द योर प्रोडक्टिविटी. एंड हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में आपको एज अ एफिशिएंट ग्रोअर ऑप्टिमल यूज करना है हर रिसोर्सेस का, जिससे कि आप मैक्सिमम प्रोडक्टिविटी ले सको, बिकॉज ऑल द फैक्टर्स आर इन योर कंट्रोल एज अ ग्रोअर. एक और भी चीज होती है हिडन हंगर, कि भाई आप कहते हैं कि जब डेफिशिएंसी सिम्टम आता है तब जाके आपको यूज करना चाहिए. बट एज अ एफिशिएंट ग्रोअर आपका सिम्टम कभी रिफ्लेक्ट करता है in commercial growing zone, it's mean you're not an efficient grower. and hydroponics particular या urban farming में ये allow नहीं किया जाता है. and that's how ये कहा जाता है कि आप crop production protocol करते समय आप standardize करें and जो optimal है, optimal growth पाने के लिए जो resources की जरूरत है वो आपको supply करना है. even you cannot afford to have a hidden hunger which is not showing the symptom. So efficiency of hydroponic need to achieve to a level where one can ensure the maximum production. These are some essential nutrient, very common definition or a common classification, but yeah, mobility in soil and mobility in plant is some critical thing, because these two things ensure the efficiency of nutrient, and also deficiency helps in identifying the deficiency symptoms. So this is some just general classification. अब हम I'll quickly take you through that different रोल ऑफ न्यूट्रिएंट. अगर नाइट्रोजन की बात करें तो ऑलवेज इट इज वेल नोन फॉर वेजिटेटिव ग्रोथ. फॉस्फोरस की बात करें तो इट इज एनर्जी गिविंग एज वेल एज द रूट डेवलपमेंट इज रियली क्रूशियल. सो इनिशियल स्टेज पे फॉस्फोरस इसीलिए आपका बेसल एप्लीकेशन किया जाता है. एंड हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में इसीलिए जब इनिशियल स्टेज होती है फॉस्फोरस का कंटेंट ज्यादा होना चाहिए, एंड जब वेजिटेटिव फेज आता है तो नाइट्रोजन का कंटेंट ज्यादा होना चाहिए. And then potassium is one of the nutrient which helps in transporting the raw food as well as the cooked food, and also helps in stress management, any kind, like maybe pest or maybe nutrient, or maybe it's a water. But in hydroponic there is no scope of a means water scarcity. Calcium, cell division and shining and quality of your crop. Magnesium, again it's a central atom of chlorophyll, so हरापन होना और एक तरीके से जो पौधे में खाना बनाने का पोटेंशियल होता है वो आयरन एंड मैग्नीशियम से बहुत ही क्रूशियली लिंक है. So we have to see that the role of these magnesium and iron is really crucial at the stage when the plant is just migrating from vegetative to reproductive phase, because it's always helping in maintaining the source sink relation. So yeah, if the chlorophyll is not as per the requirement, then there will be a less source and sink will not be produced, and this sometime reflect in your crop as a flower drop or a flower abortion. Magnesium and zinc, it's again linked with your the enzymatic activities, this presentation I'll share and you can go through with this, because this is really crucial to understand at which stage of your crop while designing the fertilizer recipe, what should be your optimal kind of a nutrient ratio. Sulfur and boron. Sulfur again is good sources of something like a oil and fragrance of any crop, and boron is directly linked with fertilization because it helps in a elongation of a pollen tube. If boron is less at the time of fruiting, then also there will be a chances of a chaffy grains or flower drop, and this lack of fertilization, and then fruit setting is also low. Copper and molybdenum again is a catalyst, working as a catalyst, and molybdenum is, yeah, in soil it is working good in nitrogen fixation, but yes, as it is an essential nutrient, it is also required in hydroponics for ensuring this availability of other nutrients also. So this I've tried to quickly cover because this is everywhere available, but yes, really a crucial while designing your fertilizer recipe. So now crop nutrition in hydroponics. तो सबसे पहला सवाल आता है कि फर्टिलाइजर का क्या सोर्स होना चाहिए. भाई केवल वाटर soluble fertilizer is applicable for hydroponics. Soil grade fertilizers are not fit for hydroponic. Amide fertilizer like urea is not at all fit for hydroponics. Only branded fertilizer. Why I am saying? Because इसमें जो ratio है वो ratio अगर कहीं पे भी दो, fertilizer control order and ministry is there to ensure that the nutrient content in all fertilizers, but it is always recommended to go for a branded fertilizer where you are sure that the nutrient content what is mentioned is going to be present in the fertilizer. And source of nitrogen need to be balanced between ammonical source and nitrate source, because some of the plants, they love to have ammonical source of a nitrogen. So it is always better to give your nitrogen in two sources, nitrate as well as ammonical form. So in hydroponic, that is also very, very crucial, and it is always recommended to 10 to 15% of a ammonical source of nitrogen is always better for a better efficient growth. In hydroponic, if we talk about the method of application, is an open system and a closed system. And then the application of fertilizer is one method is a tank mix, where we have a recirculating tank जिसमें से वो फर्टिलाइजर का न्यूट्रिएंट वाटर जो है आपके हाइड्रोपोनिक ग्रोइंग सिस्टम में जाता है. वहां आपका जो स्टॉक सॉल्यूशन होता है टैंक, वो स्टॉक सॉल्यूशन से आपके उस रिसर्कुलेटिंग टैंक में दो तरीके से आपका, या तो आपका ऑटोमेशन होता है, उसमें EC की वैल्यू सेट की जाती है, बिकॉज इलेक्ट्रिकल कंडक्टिविटी इज अ सॉल्ट कंसेंट्रेशन एंड इनडायरेक्टली it is kind of indication of a fertilizer content. So one is tank mix, second is inline. Inline is there are irrigation system which sucks the fertilizer and mix while sending this fertilizer to your crop. And manual is, yes, those high-tech growers, they know it's a manual kind of a venturi application. So they have a separate venturi and they dissolve the nutrient and supply through the irrigation. Designing of fertilizer recipe. So the most important thing is of fertilizer recipe is electrical conductivity and pH. Why? Because electrical conductivity is the salt concentration of fertilizer, and pH helps or ensure the availability of these nutrient. Because अगर highly acidic होता है solution और highly basic होता है, alkaline होता है, in both the cases the availability of nutrient is impacted. If you want to see further, you can see the impact of pH on availability of nutrients. So pH availability chart. So if you will see that, you will get all those nutrient availability. Fertilizer recipe जो बनाते हैं हम लोग, it need to be a project specific. यहाँ पे copy paste नहीं होगा, because if there is any factor is different at two projects, it is not sure that the same recipe working on a project X will also work on a project Y. So you need to calibrate your recipe as per your crop, as per your project. fertilizer recipe also need to adjust for crop stage. Yes, the short duration leafy vegetable, you can opt for a single kind of a recipe, but the moment we talk about this long duration crop, different stage require a different kind of a recipe. Nutrient ratio should be as per the crop stage. So the nutrient ratios also need to be adjusted, because at the time of our fruit maturity, there are certain nutrients where it have a crucial role. So unki availability us stage pe bahut important hoti hai, and that's how we need to ensure the ratio of a nutrient as per the crop stage also. This I'm talking about the nutrient fertilizer compatibility chart. ये हर एक जगह पे आपका जरूर होना चाहिए, because generally जो ये fertilizer stock solution बनाता है वो the worker or the person who is handling the project is going to make that fertilizer stock solution. While doing that, he must be very clearly able to understand that what are those fertilizers which he can mix together and which cannot be mixed together, because the compatibility of each fertilizer is not there. Means जो एक साथ आपस में अच्छे से चल सकते हैं उनको एक में रखना है, जो दूसरे में मतलब एक साथ चल सकते हैं उनको दूसरे टैंक में रखना है. एंड सबसे बड़ा इसमें कल्प्रिट अगर आप देखो तो ये कैल्शियम नाइट्रेट है, क्योंकि सबसे ज्यादा यूज होता है हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में, एंड यही सबसे ज्यादा गड़बड़ करता है. आप देखिए कितने फर्टिलाइजर जिसके साथ वो कंपेटेबल नहीं है. सो दिस चार्ट नीड टू बी fixed or pasted at the place where the fertilizer recipe or fertilizer designing is done or fertilizer stock solution is being prepared. ये एक sheet है, fertilizer recipe designing sheet, which over a period of a time, with lot of experience, with lot of working, one of my participants, he has worked and he has supported me to take this to a level where, as a grower, you only need to fill this water quantity and you have to fill this targeted EC and play around with this fertilizer quantity. आप इसको जैसे ही प्लस माइनस करोगे, आपकी EC भी फ्लैक्चुएट करेगी, आपका रेशियो भी फ्लैक्चुएट करेगा, आपका टारगेट EC भी पता चलती रहेगी, and this ratio will also be fluctuating. So this is a formula driven Excel sheet which anybody can use for designing their fertilizer recipe. It's very simple. As I said, only 3 information. By filling 3 information, you can get all the detail which you want as a grower. One is this sheet. Second, in that file itself, the grammage of nutrient by supplying a specific fertilizer quantity is also mentioned. So you can see that, okay, if I'm supplying this much of a nutrient fertilizer, I'm giving something by 102 gram. If I see like nitrogen is coming from 3 sources, and this is total is coming around 102 grams per recipe. And this file is also having a very simple kind of sheet where the grower can simply get a weak fertilizer and mix in a one tank, and then the second compatible fertilizer. So there will be a less risk that the guy who is going to make this fertilizer stock solution can commit any mistake. So this is the another sheet. So in that one file, all the 3 sheets are there. Then also one can estimate कि भाई मेरा अगर मैं 1 हफ्ते का फर्टिलाइजर या 1 दिन का बना रहा हूं तो मेरी रेसिपी की कॉस्ट क्या है. एंड एज अ ग्रोवर, बिकॉज फर्टिलाइजर की कॉस्ट कहीं कहीं पे अलग होती है, तो यू एज अ पर्सन नीड टू पुट योर पर केजी कॉस्ट ऑफ योर न्यूट्रिएंट. दिस शीट विल आल्सो गिव यू कि मेरी एक रेसिपी की कॉस्ट कितनी होती है. एक और भी चीज है फर्टिलाइजर मैनेजमेंट में, नाइट्रोजन फर्टिलाइजर इज रियली क्रूशियल. अब जैसा मैंने पहले भी बोला था कि यूरिया एंड डीएपी इज नॉट एट ऑल रिकमेंडेड बिकॉज इज अ सॉइल ग्रेड फर्टिलाइजर. एक वाटर सॉल्युबल फर्टिलाइजर 1919 है, वो भी इसके लिए सुटेबल नहीं है, बिकॉज इसका भी जो नाइट्रोजन का सोर्स है, पार्ट ऑफ दैट इज कमिंग एज एन यूरिया, एंड यूरिया अगर है तो वो आप हाइड्रोपोनिक में यूज नहीं कर सकते। वाई, उसका आंसर अभी मैं आगे आपको दूंगा। एक और भी चीज होता है, वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि भाई फर्टिलाइजर को किस तरीके से हम अपने ग्रोइंग सिस्टम में सेलेक्ट करेंगे और अमोनिकल एंड नाइट्रोएट का क्या रेशियो होना चाहिए। बिफोर गोइंग फर्दर, I think I have exceeded the time, so I'll quickly wrap it up. एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, जब हमें फर्टिलाइजर रेसिपी एक बार हमने शुरू किया, उसके बाद जो हम पायलट प्रोजेक्ट में स्टैंडर्डाइज करते हैं, वहां पे ये आपका बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करता है कि अगर if the deficiency symptom is at the apical part, so then on the chances is only the calcium and boron need to be altered. या तो उसमें कैल्शियम की डेफिशिएंसी है या बोरॉन की डेफिशिएंसी, अगर कोई भी सिम्टम यहां पे अपीयर होता है, एंड रिलेटेड टू न्यूट्रिएंट, नॉट रिलेटेड टू एनी इंसेक्ट्स एंड पेस्ट। इफ न्यू लीव्स पे अपीयर हो रहा है तो सल्फर, कॉपर, आयरन एंड मैग्नीशियम है, ठीक है। सो दिस इज डिफरेंट, मींस पार्ट ऑफ प्लांट, डिफरेंट न्यूट्रिएंट डेफिशिएंसी सिम्टम अपीयर्स। Why? If you remember, मैंने आपको बोला था mobility of plant nutrient inside the plant, कैल्शियम एंड बोरॉन सबसे आलसी होते हैं और वो जैसे ही प्लांट में एब्जॉर्ब होते हैं वो नीचे की पत्तियों तक ही पहुंच पाते हैं, एंड दैट्स हाउ अगर वहां पे कमी होती है तो उसका सिम्टम ऑलवेज एपिकल पार्ट में दिखता है। और अगर देखा जाए सबसे एनर्जाइज्ड और फास्ट मूविंग इज नाइट्रोजन, फास्फोरस, पोटेशियम, मैग्नीशियम एंड मॉलिब्डेनम है। ये जैसे ही एब्जॉर्ब होते हैं ये इतने एक्टिव होते हैं कि वो एपिकल पार्ट में पहुंच जाते हैं, इसी वजह से इनकी डेफिशिएंसी लोअर लीफ में होती है। तो ये एज अ ग्रोवर हाइड्रोपोनिक की जब आप रेसिपी डिजाइन कर रहे हैं, स्टैंडर्डाइज कर रहे हैं, ये आपके दिमाग में होना चाहिए कि भाई मेरी जो डेफिशिएंसी आ रही है वो कहां आ रही है, तो किस न्यूट्रिएंट की हो सकती है। नेक्स्ट जो होता है, इसी में अगला जो पार्ट है कि किस तरीके के सिम्टम्स होते हैं। अगर आप ब्रॉडली देखें तो सिम्टम केवल मतलब या तो वो डेड स्पॉट होगा या तो नो डेड स्पॉट होगा, या तो उसमें सूखी पत्तियां या मरा हुआ पार्ट होगा। अगर उसमें डेड स्पॉट दिख रहा है तो वो बिकॉज ऑफ पोटेशियम एंड मॉलिब्डेनम की वजह से होता है, और ये ओल्ड लीफ की बात कर रहे हैं। और अगर वो डेड स्पॉट्स होता है तो या तो वो नो डेड स्पॉट होता है, तो नाइट्रोजन, फास्फोरस एंड मैग्नीशियम की वेन ग्रीन होती है, नाइट्रोजन की येलो होती है, एंड फास्फोरस का पर्पलिश कलर आता है। अगर न्यू लीफ की बात करें तो इसमें केवल दो ही तरीके के ग्रीन वेन आएगा या येलो वेन आएगा। और अगर ग्रीन वेन आ रहा है तो आयरन एंड मैग्नीज है। येलो पूरी तरीके से होता है जिसको क्लोरोसिस कहते हैं, और इसको जो ग्रीन वेन होता है इंटरवेनल क्लोरोसिस कहते हैं। तो क्लोरोसिस जो होती है वो सल्फर एंड कॉपर की वजह से होती है, एंड जिंक की डेफिशिएंसी पुरानी और नई पत्ती दोनों पे होती है। Calcium and boron is a terminal bud, and if anybody wants, I can further give you the detail. You just get in touch with me for understanding this in depth. I'll not take much time of this. Is just I'm putting the dead spot how it is appears, because potassium deficiency is clearly giving you a separate part, necrosis, yellow and green part. So that is something like a dead spot, and molybdenum का जो dead spot होता है वो पॉइंट कहीं पे भी इरेगुलर होता है। अगर इंटरवेनल क्लोरोसिस की बात करें तो इफ यू कैन सी आयरन एंड मैग्नीशियम में जो डिफरेंस होता है, मैग्नीशियम में समहाउ जो होती है आपकी सेकेंडरी मींस प्राइमरी वेन्स जो होती हैं वो ग्रीन ही रह जाती हैं। यहाँ पे इट्स समथिंग काइंड ऑफ या सो आयरन का आई रिक्वेस्ट या सो क्लोरोसिस में भी अगर आप देखें तो डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ क्लोरोसिस इज देयर टू आइडेंटिफाई, एंड देन द टर्मिनल कैल्शियम, एंड दिस इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट कॉमन थिंग। ये हर एक किसान के फील्ड में दिखाई देता है। तो ये कैल्शियम एंड बोरॉन की डेफिशिएंसी है। ये मैंने आपको इसलिए बताया कि जब आप स्टैंडर्डाइज, ये हमारे हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में इस स्टेज पे पहुंचना मतलब ग्रोवर इज इनएफिशिएंट एंड सही से ग्रोइंग नहीं हो रही है। तो ये केवल जब आप फर्टिलाइजर रेसिपी डिजाइन कर रहे होते हैं, अगर इस तरीके का सिम्टम आता है तो आपको उसको मॉडिफाई करने की जरूरत है। सो दिस सिम्टम लेवल तक तो पहुंचना ही नहीं है कॉमर्शियल फार्मिंग में, ओनली एट द स्टेज व्हेन यू आर डिजाइनिंग योर रेसिपी एंड कैलिब्रेटिंग योर रेसिपी। एक चीज सभी के सवाल आते हैं वाई में, तो भाई नाइट्रोजन हम यूरिया और सॉइल ग्रेड को क्यों नहीं कर सकते हैं यूज इन हाइड्रोपोनिक, उस इसके बाद आई विल जस्ट क्लोज माय सेशन. सो अगर आप देखो तो यूरिया इज अमाइड फर्टिलाइजर. It required a urease enzyme and one of the most stable compound. यूरिया जो है एक हाईली स्टेबल कंपाउंड है until and unless यूरियस एंजाइम से इसका मिलाप नहीं होता है. एंड यूरियस एंजाइम से मिलाप होने के बाद यूरिया का यहां तक कहा गया कि 2500 साल तक यूरिया का कंपाउंड, यूरिया का मॉलिक्यूल नहीं, यूरिया का कंपाउंड यूरिया की तरह 2500 साल तक ही पड़ा रहेगा अगर यूरियस एंजाइम के कांटेक्ट में नहीं आता है. यूरियस एंजाइम इज प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय द माइक्रोब्स, और जब यूरियस एंजाइम होता है तो अमोनिया बनता है which can be converted into further हाइड्रोजन से मिलके अमोनियम which is a stable compound. So यूरियस अगर कहां से आ रहा है, माइक्रोब से आ रहा है. ध्यान दीजिएगा क्यों नहीं इस्तेमाल कर सकते. एंड देन अमोनिया का फिर नाइट्रोसोमोनास बैक्टीरिया से अगेन द माइक्रोब्स नाइट्राइट बनाता है. नाइट्राइट अगेन नाइट्रोबैक्टर से रिएक्ट करके एंड अगेन इट्स नाइट्रेट बनाता है विच इज अवेलेबल फ्रॉम. अब यहां पे अगर हम बात करते हैं क्यों नहीं इस्तेमाल हो सकता है हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में, क्योंकि हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में इट इज नॉट अलाउड टू हैव एनी काइंड ऑफ अ माइक्रोब. और अगर किसी भी तरीके से वो पार्शियली हाइड्रोलिसिस हो गया और वो नाइट्राइट तक पहुंच गया, 50 ppm of anything above 50 ppm of nitrite is toxic for the plant, और वो प्लांट आपका मार देगा हाइड्रोपोनिक कंडीशन में. दैट्स हाउ दिस काइंड ऑफ अ सॉइल ग्रेड और यूरिया इज नॉट एट ऑल रिकमेंडेड इन हाइड्रोपोनिक्स. अगर हम बात करें तो कैल्शियम नाइट्रेट इज वन सोर्स. Triple 18 is one of the water soluble compound fertilizer where nitrogen is coming through ammonical form or nitrate from there. Urea is not there, amide is not there, so you can use that. So these are some of the sources of a nitrogenous fertilizer. I exceeded the time, so that's how I will not take up that fertilizer recipe designing hands-on. I'll explore an opportunity if we'll get some time, more time while the session. I would love to further give you the exposure that how you can use this fertilizer recipe sheet and you can design your own recipe. So with these words, I'll just stop here and sorry, I just overshooted the time. Over to Dr. Maurya.
Yes, thank you very much. Very informative lecture again by Dr. Praveer Singh. I think really our participants must have enjoyed with the lecture. मैं कहूँ कि हाइड्रोपोनिक में जो फर्टिगेशन है और किस तरह से फर्टिगेशन शेड्यूलिंग करना चाहिए, ये वास्तव में हाइड्रोपोनिक का एक तरह से ये हार्ट है. और जिस तरीके से और डॉक्टर प्रवीण सिंह ने बताया है कि हाइड्रोपोनिक है क्या और इसमें फर्टिलाइजर क्या कितना रोल है, मेरे ख्याल से ये हमारे विद्यार्थियों के लिए और एक तरीके से जो रिसर्चर्स हैं उनके लिए निश्चित रूप से एक आगे का रास्ता बहुत प्रशस्त करेगा. क्योंकि ये वास्तव में बहुत कमी है कि हम फर्टिलाइजर रेसिपी डिजाइन नहीं कर पाते हैं. हाइड्रोपोनिक सिस्टम लगा लिया और मार्केट से फर्टिलाइजर ले करके और उसको बनाते हैं. तो जिस तरीके से अभी डॉक्टर प्रवीण सिंह ने कहा है कि मुझे थोड़ा और समय चाहिए तो मैं फर्टिलाइजर रेसिपी को बताऊंगा, तो मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि अभी जो शेड्यूल है हम इस शेड्यूल को फॉलो करते हैं, क्योंकि नेक्स्ट हमारे स्पीकर वो वेट कर रहे हैं. हम इसको 4 बजे फिर से फर्टिलाइजर शेड्यूलिंग का प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस करेंगे कि जिससे कि सब लोगों को पता चल जाए कि जैसे डॉक्टर प्रवीण सिंह ने दिखाया जो एक्सेल सीट है, उस सीट में अगर कुछ भी फर्टिलाइजर में अगर हम चेंजेस करते हैं तो उसका जो पीएच है, उसका जो आप फर्टिलाइजर रेसिपी बनाएंगे, पीएच मान और जो नाइट्रेट और अमोनिकल फर्टिलाइजर का जो रेशियो है किस तरह से फ्लक्चुएट करते हैं, इसके बारे में जानना हमको बहुत ही आवश्यक है. और अगर हम एक बार अपने फर्टिलाइजर रेसिपी को बना लेते हैं तो निश्चित रूप से हम कहेंगे कि हम हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में एक तरीके से पूरा का पूरा महारत हासिल कर लेंगे। और ये और आज हम एक करके रहेंगे। और ये मैं डॉक्टर प्रवीण सिंह को कहता हूँ कि हम 4 बजे जो आफ्टरनून का सेशन है, जैसे ही हमको समय मिलता है हम वहां पर जरूर इसको फर्टिलाइजर रेसिपी का प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपेरिमेंट मतलब एक तरीके से अनुभव करेंगे। तो इन्हीं वर्डों के साथ मैं प्रवीण सिंह को बहुत बहुत तहे दिल से मैं उनको शुक्रिया करता हूँ, क्योंकि एक तरीके से ये जो वर्कशॉप हो रही है इसके पीछे उनका भी उतना ही हाथ है जितना मेरा हाथ है। और ये सफल होवे ये हम लोगों का उद्देश्य है। हमारे पूरे देश के लोग एक तरीके से जो भी जुड़े हुए हैं हाइड्रोपोनिक्स से वो प्रतिदिन प्रोग्रेस करें। उसके पीछे जो भी साइंस होगी उसको हम लोग प्रोवाइड करने की कोशिश करेंगे। तो एक बार मैं पुनः मैं धन्यवाद देता हूँ। और अगर
थैंक यू सर,
भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को कोई है आपको पूरा का पूरा समय देंगे। थैंक यू वेरी मच। डियर पार्टिसिपेंट्स, please ask any question if you have any question in your mind, please.
मैंने परफॉर्मेंस चाहिए और साइड पर चाहिए तो 22 लीटर मार भी यार भाइयों मैंने एक बार मैं ऑनलाइन तुम हो रही हूं मैं ये लगा अपना ऑनलाइन छोड़ देता हूं। मतलब आप धार दे घाटे कोई दुकान नहीं करने।
हे सतपाल, सतपाल यू हैव टू म्यूट योरसेल्फ।
17 16 17
सतपाल जी अपने को म्यूट करिए। या
now participants, I think डॉक्टर ब्रह्म सिंह साहब भी जुड़े हुए हैं। मैं उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं कि 2 शब्द अपनी तरफ से कुछ कहें तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा। सर आप जुड़े हैं?
He has given his comment in chat box. What he is saying, excellent talk by Khati Badi Wala. He is a hydroponics wala. Thank you, sir.
That's great.
Yeah, he is still here.
और कोई पार्टिसिपेंट्स प्लीज?
एक सवाल किसी ने पूछा था जिसका कि मैंने लास्ट में जवाब देने की बात की थी। I think the organic person who has asked for this organic versus hydroponics, he is satisfied with the answer बीच में जो मैंने दिया था, या he want to know more? उसमें और कुछ जानने का है? I think Aman has asked that question. Anant has asked a question. Anant, are you there?
Please share PPT form.
वो तो डेफिनेटली आपको शेयर कर देंगे, डोंट वरी।
ओके, थैंक यू सर।
एक मेरा क्वेश्चन है डॉक्टर प्रदीप सिंह जी।
श्योर।
जो अपना वर्मी वाश है, क्या हम वर्मी वाश को फोर्टिफाई करके हाइड्रोपोनिक में यूज करें तो कैसा रहेगा?
See, as a concept wise, yes, we can use that, but सबसे बड़ा चीज उसमें यही होता है कि we need to adjust as a grower. Suppose my target is giving some quantity of a nitrogen. Yes. So if we are just replacing part of that chemical with my vermi wash, which is going to be a little difficult to just calibrate. Suppose your vermi wash is giving you means 10 grams equivalent of nitrogen, then all the time, because vermi wash में भी nitrogen का जो ratio है, जो nitrogen का content है या different nutrient का content है, every time you have to analyze and adjust with your fertilizer requirement, then only it is possible, and that's how commercial में इतना बड़ा complicated वो effort करना थोड़ा सा feasible नहीं होता है। And that's how the hydroponics ये बोला जाता है कि it gives 100% control। तो 100% control में कोई compromise नहीं होता है। अगर आप कर सकते हैं इतना जो प्रोसेस है कि हाँ जी हमने सब अपना वर्मी वॉश को एनालाइज किया एंड देन मेरी जो रेसिपी बनी है उसमें से मैंने उसको डिडक्ट किया तब यूज किया, इट इज क्वाइट पॉसिबल।
करेक्ट। और कोई स्टूडेंट्स, एनी रिसर्चर? So I think no any participants want to ask any question, but
देखो ये सभी जो भी लोग हैं उनके लिए एक डॉक्टर मौर्य ने एक अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएट की है। सो इस अपॉर्चुनिटी का जो सबसे अच्छा इस्तेमाल होता है, जितना ज्यादा आप सवाल पूछते हैं डाउट उतना ही क्लियर होता है, उतना ही कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ता है। So otherwise what is going to happen, what happened with me कि जब पुराना काफी दिन के बाद हुआ तब मुझे समझ में आने लगी जब प्रैक्टिकल करने लगा। I think Sumit want to ask something. Yeah, Sumit, go ahead.
सर मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि सर आपके द्वारा कोई ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम हो जहाँ पे हम फिजिकली पहुँच के वहाँ से ट्रेनिंग ले सकें, या जैसे ऑनलाइन तो बहुत ज़्यादा हम आपके इस सेशन को बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं समझ सकते, लेकिन जब हम फिजिकली आपका ट्रेनिंग नहीं अटेंड करते हैं तब तक हमको पूरी बातें सही से समझ में नहीं आएगी, जो कि जैसे आप लोग मतलब ग्राउंड लेवल पे कोई चीज़ पहुँच नहीं पा रही है।
अगर आप मेरे से पूछो तो कोविड के पहले तक
जी
आप जो कह रहे थे उससे हम 100% इत्तेफाक रखते थे और हमने उसी के बेसिस पे 3 मंथ का इंटर्नशिप डाबर में शुरू कराया था। ठीक है, मेरा भी मानना था कि हाइड्रोपोनिक को अगर या खेती बाड़ी को सीखना है तो उसमें आपको थोड़ा टाइम देने की जरूरत है और फिजिकली करने की जरूरत है। बट पहला प्रोग्राम हमने शायद राजस्थान या एमपी के लिए किया था, दैट यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए ही किया था, एंड देन आई रियलाइज, आई एग्री आप जो कह रहे हैं कि हाँ जी जब तक देखेंगे नहीं तब तक आपका वो थॉट प्रोसेस नहीं आता है। देखना तो जरूरी है, यू आर गोइंग टू गेट एक्सपोजर, बट रही बात सीखने की, काफी कुछ चीजें आज के इस ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म से सीखी जा सकती
जी बिल्कुल, बहुत चीज जैसे जानकारी बहुत सारी मिली, लेकिन थोड़ा जैसे फिजिकली जब तक हम करेंगे तो थोड़ा और मतलब इम्प्रूव होगा।
जब कभी भी आप चाहे आ जाए, आपको फिजिकली हम यहाँ पे दिखाएंगे कमर्शियल फार्म दिल्ली में, और इवन डॉक्टर मौर्य के यहाँ बहुत सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट चल रहे हैं, वहाँ आप देख सकते हैं। सो इफ यू वांट अ रिसर्च वाला पार्ट, सो कांटेक्ट डॉक्टर मौर्य। इफ यू, आपको अगर ये लगता है कि नहीं मुझे कमर्शियल फार्म देखना है, तो कभी भी दिल्ली, महाराष्ट्र एंड आसाम कहीं पे भी आप बोले या उसके अदर किसी पार्ट पे भी बोलेंगे तो वी कैन ऑर्गेनाइज, आपका विजिट वहाँ ऑर्गेनाइज करा जा सकता है। ठीक है,
जो भी वो थोड़ा सा जो लोकेशन हो, जो भी चीज हो, आप बता दीजिए कि कैसे कहाँ पे।
ऐसा है कि सुमित जी आप चैट बॉक्स में अपना मोबाइल नंबर डाल दीजिए, और अभी हम प्रैक्टिकल कराएंगे तो उसमें आपको जरूर बताएंगे।
जी थैंक यू सर।
मतलब प्रैक्टिकल ट्रेनिंग करनी है आप, उसमें पार्टिसिपेंट्स के फिगर्स हो जाएंगे, हम एक ट्रेनिंग रख लेंगे, नो प्रॉब्लम। और कोई किसी क्वेरी?
Sir, there is a question from the side of
thank you
participants.
very much again.
Hello.
Yeah, Anil, go ahead. There are some questions in the chat box, I guess.
Sir, there is a question from the side of participants that how to control algal problem in hydroponics.
ये जो प्रॉब्लम है ना, ये प्रॉब्लम जो है सबसे पहले हमने भी काफी फेस किया था, एंड एक बहुत सिंपल सा चीज है इसका, अगर हम एल्गी को कंट्रोल करना चाहते हैं, because I am not a promoter for any kind of a chemical use in hydroponic growing system, because H2O2 is one of the thing which everybody recommend for controlling this, and even we also ECA water, electrolyzed active water एक होता है ECA water, तो उसको भी हमने यूज किया जिससे कि एल्गी का कम होता है, but the indigenous way और वेरी क्रूड वे अगर आप देखो तो एल्गी और पानी इन दोनों की बहुत तगड़ी यारी है, जोड़ी बहुत तगड़ी है कि जहां पानी और धूप दोनों होगा वहीं पे एल्गी होगी। और अगर धूप आपने कंट्रोल कर ली, इफ यू मैनेज टू कंट्रोल द सनलाइट, अगर सनलाइट आपके पानी पे नहीं पड़ती है, आपकी एल्गी की ऑटोमेटिक प्रॉब्लम खत्म हो जाएगी। So, अगर आप एनएफटी कर रहे हैं तो हमेशा आपका जो ग्रो जोन है, जो आपका ग्रो चैनल है, उसमें प्लांट लगा होना चाहिए। आपके ग्रो चैनल में कभी भी आपकी लाइट नहीं जानी चाहिए, और अगर लाइट नहीं जाएगी एल्गी फॉर्मेशन नहीं होगा। एंड दैट इज हाउ आई मेंशन, इवन आप अगर देखो तो जो मैंने मेंशन किया था डीप वाटर कल्चर, दैट्स हाउ वो डीप वाटर कल्चर इज अ चैलेंजिंग इन द क्लाइमेट वेयर वी आर। नॉर्थ इंडिया क्लाइमेट में जहां पे हॉट भी है, धूप भी है, पानी भी है, ये तीनों चीज मिलके बहुत मिसकॉम्प्लिकेटेड सिचुएशन क्रिएट करते हैं। सिंपलेस्ट वे, एलिमिनेट द लाइट एंट्री, आपकी एल्गी ग्रोथ खत्म हो जाएगी। थैंक यू।
Yes, sir. Over to Dean, sir.
Yes, Anil, there is no any query? Okay. So, thank you very much. And again, Dr. Pramit Singh will interact with you with their fertilizer recipe at around 4 p.m. And yes, sir, Pramit Singh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, without taking much time, I am inviting to our next speaker, who is engineer. सबसे पहले तो मैं जानना चाहूंगा अनिल कि प्रवीण शर्मा साहब जुड़े हुए हैं अपने से।
जी सर, जुड़े हुए हैं।
तो सर, प्रवीण शर्मा साहब, सर, are you ready, sir? Hello. Hello.
Hello, good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Dr. Pramit Sharma sahab. Yes.
Yeah, hello.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Very good morning to you. Is my voice very clear?
Yes, sir. Very clear, sir. Just before lecture, I am introducing to Pramit Sharma sahab. Basically, Dr. Sharma sahab is an agriculture engineer, and I got the number and contact details from our honorable Vice Chancellor, because the MP Jaipur, and he has a experience in the hydroponics, and you can say more than 35 years of international experience in setting large-scale export-oriented hydroponic projects. He has implemented numerous export-oriented flower vegetable projects in Africa, Middle East, and India also. And his strengths are advanced technology of vertical farming on hydroponics and particularly aeroponics. And he is the founder of Flora Consult, a Turkey project company offering large-scale vertical farms on hydroponics and aeroponics. And he also owns Globe Florex, a company engaged in manufacturing of proprietary aeroponics equipment and automation. Currently, his focus is on vertical aeroponic farming, on climate control greenhouse and indoor warehouses. And the projects whatever undertaken by him have won many prestigious awards like prestigious Dutch Flower Award, Netherlands, and Steinberg's Best Growers Award in UK. And he is also president of Indian Society of Floriculture Professionals. So Dr. Sharma Saab has a vast experience in the field of the hydroponics, and we would like to हम चाहेंगे कि आपका जो एक्सपीरियंस है वो हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स, हमारे रिसर्चर्स सबके लिए लाभान्वित हो. And looking your vast experience, we have scheduled your one lecture on the hydroponic towers, and I hope that this lecture will be very much beneficial to our participants, students, and researchers also. So without taking much time, I am directly inviting to Sharma Saab for delivering his lectures. Please, Sharma Saab.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Moria, for your kind words and inviting me for this prestigious national workshop on hydroponics. I am delighted to be part of this, and I can see a lot of young students are participating here, and they are learning about the new technology of hydroponics. So I'll be very happy to share my experiences with them. And I hope my voice is very clear. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, it is clear.
Great, great. So what I will do is I will just share my PowerPoint. Yeah, so since we are addressing the youth of India, those who are students and who will be future of our agriculture fraternity around the globe. So title which I have kept here is Technological Advances in Agriculture Mission 2050. So we will just scroll through. Before that, just brief introduction, though it has already been introduced. We have managed large-scale commercial farms. They are mostly export-oriented on the hydroponic technology. I was also a scientist at Pusa Institute, then assistant professor in Agriculture Engineering College, Junagadh. Then I have worked in the corporate sector as vice president, president, and various designations for quite a period of time. And in 1997, we launched this company called Flora Consult. Objective was to set up turnkey projects on the indigenous technology. Those days, all the projects which we had were either from Holland or from Israel. So based on our experience, we decided to set up projects which can be made with Indian inputs. And yes, as on today, we are offering vertical farming solutions, mostly in Middle East and other part of the world. But in India also, we are now actively working. These are some of the projects which we have done. Now this is like in Africa, where we had 27 hectares of greenhouse project. This was on substrate cultivation, and the product grown here was roses, which was being exported to different part of the world, mainly Europe. And here you can see on the left side the white things. I will show my cursor. These are the reservoirs where the rainwater has been harvested, and one reservoir is meant for the recirculation of the nutrient water which is collected from the hydroponic trays. It's a huge project of 27 hectares. And this is the project which had received the international award on as a best grower. Now, when we call best grower, what happens? All these leading supermarket chains who are importing, they have certain responsibility of sourcing of the product. They are answerable to their consumer that from which source the product is coming. So for that, they do regular audits of the flowers which are being grown in different part of the world. They visit the project and see the methodology and various protocols which are being followed in growing, and based on that they choose which is the best. As you can see, these are all Indian production managers and the marketing managers who were part of it. They were part of our team there. We won that award by achieving all the standards. If you talk of standards, like when you're exporting, there are certain pesticides which you are not supposed to use. There are certain re-entry time for each pesticide. Like WHO has got certain guideline. If you spray certain pesticide, the greenhouse, nobody should enter for 6 hours period. So you have to mention that kind of signages before the greenhouse that certain chemical has been sprayed and that much period nobody should enter. Just basic thing. Next is like what kind of water application you are doing. What is the basis of deciding how much water to be irrigated? So in that, again, they will come and they will ask the irrigation foreman who is working there, and they will just blindly ask that in which greenhouse you are going. He says, I'm going to greenhouse number 13. How much water you are feeding there? His answer, suppose he says he's going to operate for half an hour. They will ask in half an hour how many cubic meter water will be consumed, and why you are giving half an hour, why not 1 hour, why not 10 minutes? He must have a justified answer for that. And each greenhouse has got certain gadgets which decide the moisture pattern inside the root zone. Based on that, the water has to be applied. So when you do that kind of efficient application of water, what you do? Number one, you save on the water. Second, you save on the energy cost. Because if you're over watering, you're consuming more pumping hours, more energy is being consumed, and at the same time, you're losing valuable water. And at times, plants, they don't enjoy excess of water. So these are the basic parameters to formulate who is the best grower, and then the consistency of supply. When you are supplying to a supermarket, 52 weeks you are supposed to supply with a consistent volume which you have committed to them. So you can be consistent only when you have got a very good management of crop during the growing and how you plan your crops. So all that is possible when you manage things very professionally. This was another project. It was also on hydroponics, 37 hectares. 640 workers were employed here, and every individual was trained how to train a rose plant to give maximum production and harvest at the right stage and export to different part of the world. By the time it reaches to say from this high altitude farm to the airport, from airport to Tokyo, from Tokyo to Tokyo auction, from auction it goes to certain island in Japan, the retail shop. But at that time also the flower should look fresh and there should be a guarantee of vase life. So all that protocols one has to follow very strictly. Again, here you have to do a lot of trainings. You have to ensure that all the technocrats who are working, they know the job. And then you have to admire the best who are working. So when you admire your team, you give them appreciation, then you also get appreciated and you receive award because your team is also being awarded time to time. So this was the award we received in Holland, which on the import category from Kenya. There are a few other projects. This is also first substrate project in India. In 1999, we had set up. This was again hydroponics, where the product was being exported to Japanese market and European markets. There are some more. These are all hydroponic projects we have done. This was a 25 acres project in Karnataka at the backdrop of Tungabhadra Dam. It was awarded by Professor Swaminathan. So now we come to our main theme of the project, the seminar about the hydroponics. As now we are around 7.8 billion people on this planet, and by 2050 we are going to be 9.2 billion. That is the estimate. But the way we are growing, we may even exceed that. As I was seeing the recent figures, I could find that we are already 7.9 billion people, and birth rate is like today's birth rate is 1.91, already crossed 1.91 lakhs, and it's continuously increasing. So as agriculture fraternity, as a horticulture graduates, now these are the number of heads we are supposed to feed by 2050. So this is our target. Now, the next challenge we have is, in the globe, out of total water we have, 70% is consumed by the agriculture. And out of 70%, 60% is wasted due to poor water application efficiency. So that is the next challenge we as a technocrat, as an agriculture fraternity, we have, that how we can make every drop count. Though we do a lot of water saving in our houses, in taps, but that is just 10% of the water, domestic consumption. But 70% is on our account, on the account of agriculture fraternity. The world population, the urban population especially, is still growing quite fast. So we are 50% as on today, urban population, but by 2050, we are going to reach 70%. That means only 30% will be the rural population. Right now, they are the ones who are conducting the agriculture practices for us. They are the ones who are growing the food for us. So they will be reducing, urban population will increase, and then we have to feed more number of heads. So that is another challenge, that less number of workforce, higher productivity. And above all, the agriculture land. If you look at the land, we have around 13 billion hectare land in this planet Earth. Out of that, 4.88 billion is used for agriculture. But what is happening? If you look at the data of India itself, in last, say, 2008 to 2011, we lost almost 800,000 hectares of agricultural land to various developments, infrastructure development, roads, and still it is going unabated. It's not just in India, but around the globe, this process is seen. And what you see here, like in this picture, I'm just giving you a photograph of Pune. In 2004, the same zone was so green. In 2014, it became a concrete jungle. So this we are experiencing in all part of the world, not just in India. That is urbanization process. So we will be losing a lot of agricultural land in due course. We will have more heads to feed, and these challenges we have to address. Today's urban horticulture, mostly we know that we have two major categories, food grain and the horticulture. Like food grain agriculture is okay because they are not that perishable. Food grain can be grown far from the city, but this green vegetables, if they are close to the city, it's always good. But what is happening in today's time, the vegetables are being grown with the sewage water of the cities, and that sewage water is toxic water. This photograph, those who might have visited Mumbai, you will see that around the railway track, a lot of people are growing vegetables with the water which is coming from the sewage, which is dangerous, which contains a lot of toxicity, heavy metals, and which is one of the cause of cancers which has been identified. As you can see even this, that more and more vegetables have high pesticide levels. This is the Times of India news. So this is another challenge we have, that how to convert, because in our daily platter, we have food grain and we have vegetables. So vegetable is a regular input we all take. That has to be of very high, healthy, hygienic production. So if it is coming from such sources, it is always dangerous. These are the typical orthodox irrigation methods which are very inefficient. These are the main culprits. We have to abandon them and convert them into high efficiency irrigation. You can see the water loss in that flood irrigation system. You know, when you start from one end, by the time the water reaches to the last end, the first end has already consumed a lot of water and you are losing the water in deep percolation. And this is not the efficient way of watering. Furrow irrigation is again a bit efficient, but still almost 65% efficiency. We lose 35%. The sprinklers are 80-85% application efficiency because you run all of them together. So water application is more uniform, except the wind distortion and bit of evaporation. Rest is good. These are the center pivot irrigation we were using in Saudi Arabia in 1986. This is again sort of sprinkler, but a single rotation can feed 50 hectares of land, and rotation speed decides what should be the application rate. You know, if you have a higher evapotranspiration, you give a little slower rotation because you want to give higher application rate, millimeter per hour. Similarly, if you have a humid climate and evaporation is not much, speed can be planned accordingly. So these were the digital controllers we were using in 1986. Though this kind of technique is good for the plain lands, when you have undulated land, it's not that suitable. Drip irrigation, we all know, it's one of the most efficient methods. So this is giving you almost 95% efficiency. So what I'm trying to show here is how we upgrade on our technology one by one. From drip irrigation, you further go to mulching of the product. When you do mulching, what you do, you prevent the evaporation losses, you maintain the root temperature. At the same time, you are preventing the grass to grow. So it is one of the best way to upgrade from no mulching to mulching. Drip, then you come to mulching, and after that you come to low tunnels. Now, what is the advantage of low tunnel? Now, when your crop is exposed to atmosphere, there are times when it rains, there are hailstorms, there could be too much of cold. So this kind of low tunnels can protect you. And these are the low tunnels which can be made by local artisans, local farmers easily if they are provided with normal cladding material, that is plastic sheet. You can have even a little bigger tunnels which are called walk-in tunnels. This again can be done locally with just a combination of PVC pipes or GI pipes. These are smart tunnels. This can be also made locally. You can see here one farmer who is running a nursery. He made a retractable greenhouse. This retractable greenhouse is manually made by him. He has used some local welder who made this thing for him. And you can see that he can roll up the curtain any given time when he wants the sunlight. When he wants to close it during the rain or hailstorm or any other time, he has got that option available to him. So you can make things based on your local available resources, provided you know what exactly has to be done. Now we come to a typical greenhouse horizontal cultivation. What you see here is the exotic leafy greens which are being grown in a greenhouse, which is a typical greenhouse which you see in India. The height is 6.5 meter at the center, 4 meter at the gutter, and these leafy greens are put horizontally. Here, maximum number of plants you can have is around 12 to 15,000 lettuce heads. So the question comes, why hydroponics? Now, hydroponics is something that anyone who has been recommended that you should go with hydroponics, he must ask this question, why I should go with hydroponics? So hydroponics is good for the product where homogeneity is required. Product should be healthy, clean, but there is no substitute to soil growing. Because in soil growing, when you are growing, there are times when you fail to apply nutrient or apply water, still plant can survive. In hydroponics, you got to be very precise. But when you are precise, then you get very good quality of product because you are giving very balanced food to it and you know exactly what your plant requires. So for hydroponics, you must know what is required by your plant. And if you know that, there is no looking back because it is also, we call it white collared agriculture because you don't play with the soil. You can grow it in any concrete structure. You can do it on the rooftop. You can grow it inside the house because you don't need any soil. So you can still remain white collared and still be a farmer. There are different types. I understand you had other lectures also since morning, so you must have known, but I'll just read them out faster. The substrate cultivation, which we have seen up till now, there is a nutrient film technique, deep water culture, Wick pot system, aquaponics, aeroponics, vertical aeroponics, A-frame, vertical stick NFT, low pressure aeroponic, and high pressure aeroponic. These are some basic classification, but always there are some new techniques are always coming. Recently, we are in the process of patenting a technique. We call it Revoponics, where a combination of revolution and aeroponics is taken together. That is under patent, but we already set up a couple of commercial farms on that technology. We have already discussed, you have seen a plenty, but what here you have to see is that how you can make it appropriate cost. Instead of going with highly expensive material, most of the things can be done locally. Advantage here, what you see is the product grows very uniformly. What you are seeing here is roses, and they have been so uniform, and you can plan the production very smartly. Production flushes can be planned, and international market requires a homogeneous and uniform looking product. So that is the advantage of hydroponics. When you grow in soil, you take samples from 1 acre from 5 different locations, you may find there could be variation in the nutrient content. The soil is not homogeneous throughout, but here media can be from same source and it can be homogeneous throughout. And when you apply the nutrition, it remains homogeneous till the last plant. Same kind of feeding is given. So that makes your crop look very uniform. This kind of fertigation control centers should be there, which is used where you take all the data like temperature, humidity, electrical conductivity, pH, radiation, wind, sunshine hours, all that is fed into it. And when you feed this data in your controller, which comes every 5 minutes into server, it helps you in understanding how the crop is behaving with respect to the various climatical variables. For an example, if you come across certain fungal infection in your crop, you can come back and see in last 3 days what kind of temperature, humidity, day temperature, night temperature were there. Based on that, you can make out that what was the cause, so that for that variable, if they are again recurring, you can put an alarm in your system and it starts blinking when similar variables come back. That is the way artificial intelligence are being developed. So when you get that kind of alarm, you can go with a preventive spray to avoid occurrence of such fungal infection. This is again substrate, but substrates are again different types. You grow on coco peat, you go on perlite, and sometimes you use the combination. Perlite is inert material, it does not decompose. Coco peat over period of time decomposes. So that is not recommended to go 100% with coco peat. It is always good to have a combination. The analysis of the drainage water is very important in hydroponics. You should analyze what kind of ECPH you get in your drain, what is the volume of drainage you are getting. Based on that, your cycles are planned so that the optimum water is applied. You don't do excess application, nor you do the less. And in hydroponic, you can always make out how much is the water consumption of your crop. There are different systems. Now here, I would like you to see how we compare ourselves with the European or the developed countries' hydroponic systems. Now this is a typical Dutch greenhouse where you see the roses being grown on the substrate, again coco peat. But look at the infrastructure, what all they are supposed to do. First, they have to make the glass house because they have snowfall. So the plastic cladding material will not be able to withstand the snow load. Second, during the winter season, when the markets are at peak, they have to apply artificial lighting because they have very low light conditions. Most of the time it is cloudy. So they have to spend money on the lighting. Then their temperature goes below zero, so they have to heat their greenhouse. Again, lot of energy is consumed for raising the temperature in the greenhouse. So and above all, the labor, which is quite expensive. For our charge almost 20 to 25 euro. So in all, the cost of production is very high. Infrastructure cost is very high. Whereas when we look at in our Indian conditions, you will find that we have a naturally ventilated greenhouse. The stands which we make is of very simple iron bars of 6 to 8 mm, and the plastic sheet is used for making the coco peat stands. But further we go to even more appropriate technology. See, this is where India's advantage is. Here you can see we have same technology, we have substrate cultivation, it is high quality hydroponic roses, but the greenhouses are made of wooden structure. The frame for the coco peat is made with the bamboo stands. So it is purely local artisans who have made this greenhouse. The stands have been made by local artisan, and the cost is almost 60% of the normal greenhouse cost. Further, if you go more improvisation, then instead of using the plastic trays, you go with earthen pots. The advantage of earthen pots is that number one, it gives very good root temperature during the summertime. aeration, we all know this is a matka effect we get, and above all, this generates employment in the rural villages. Now, this technology, Dutch or Israeli countries cannot do that because they don't have this kind of artisans in every village. In India, we have that strength that every village has got some earthen pot makers. So, like this project where we did, we had procured these earthen pots from 5 neighboring villages, and these earthen pots were put. So, this is one of the best method for substrate cultivation in our Indian conditions. Another project where you have substrate cultivation. Product is very rich, very shiny, and very much in demand in international market. The Japanese buyers, they also do audit of your farm. They come, they see your technology, and based on that, they become your partner. And once they become your partner, they are partner for life because they trust the way you are growing. And you also make sure that you supply them consistently. This is certain research we had done. Planted same variety of rose in the same greenhouse in 2 different techniques: raised bed in soil, which is well drained raised bed, and the cocoa peat substrate media. What we found that in hydroponics, the productivity is almost 15% more than the soil waste. The advantage was the crop was growing at the faster pace. So the flush to flush difference, which is 53 days in normal soil based, here that difference was coming to 45 to 47 days. The uniformity of the product is very important, as I was mentioning. These are like manufactured roses. When they reach into the international market, they should look very homogeneous. Now we come to the Nft system, which is quite prevalent. Around Europe, you go, you'll find this system is everywhere. Even in US, it's quite popular. And in India, wherever you go, you will find this Nft gullies being used for growing hydroponic products. And it is good for growing leafy greens. You can accommodate almost 15 to 20 plants per square meter. That is, if you have a 1,000 square meter greenhouse, like in this typical greenhouse, you can see you have a fan and pad system, and you are growing 15 to 20,000 plants in 1,000 square meter. This is a deep water culture where you have a huge reservoir where the nutrient is moved at a slow pace and the crop grows. Step ahead in Nft, you can have A-frames where the plant population can be increased in the same area. So advantage is you get higher productivity in the same greenhouse. As high as 25,000 plants will come in 1,000 square meter, as against 15 to 20,000 in normal Nft. Then we have a vertical wick pot system. This is now gaining popularity. It has to also take shape with time because homogeneity is an issue because water moves up with the capillary movement, but this is one of the good system. Then we have aquaponics. This is there. We have a fish as the main product, and byproduct is leafy greens. The water which goes from the fish is good for the leafy, and water goes from leafy greens is good for the fish. So that combination is worked out in this system. Since you have seen that our main theme was to have large-scale hydroponic farms, and the product was roses because we knew that even if we produce 500,000 roses every day, we have a known market for it. We can sell it and we can recover good money out of it. So the viability of the project was very well proven. Since 2010, 2011, we started looking at the vegetable side because it was gaining popularity in our country. So what we found that this 15 to 20,000 plants per 1,000 square meter is not it's not that viable proposition. So we have to increase the number of plants. So first we started with vertical Nft system where the plant population was raised from 15 to 42,000. And this project, it was first of its kind. It was established in Baroda in 2012, heart of the city. It was a warehouse where the gentleman who has set up this was spice exporter. So he was growing fresh basil and then drying up and exporting along with his shipments. So this was vertical Nft system which we had set up. Then still we were not satisfied with those 42,000. So, and also the energy. So we looked at this most modern technology of aeroponics. Now, aeroponics is the technology which even NASA has shortlisted for growing over the Mars. Reason being, they found that this is the technology by which with minimum input you can have higher productivity. So minimum input means less water, less nutrient and higher production, so that they go with minimum payload to Mars and then stay for a longer duration. So that was the objective. In this, what happens, the roots are not always merged into the flowing nutrient stream, whereas here it is either showered or sprayed intermittently based on the root zone temperature. So that is calibrated through a thermal sensor, and that this determines what should be the frequency of those sprays on the roots. So this is the technology now we have everywhere. We are the ones who are working in our country as well as in other part of the world, and we have developed certain proprietary equipments for setting up this kind of projects. So this is divided again into two types. One is called linear grow system, another is vertical grow system. When we have linear grow system, the advantage is you grow all the vertical growing crops, like cherry tomatoes, which grows vertically, so it can occupy the height of the greenhouse and you still have production. So there is no need of growing the cherry tomatoes in a vertical way. Cucumbers, bell peppers, all these crops which grow vertically can be utilized in linear aeroponic system. This photograph, what you see, this was established on 1,000 square meter in a garment factory, on top of the garment factory. So below was a garment factory where the sari dupatta was made, but on top we were growing cherry tomatoes. So this is something where we have to look into. This is a typical case of urban farming. You can grow different kind of products. Cherry tomato is one of them. And yes, when the agriculture, horticulture is attracted by even the most popular heroes. Dharampaji loved it and he paid visit to one of our farm. Agriculture is now attracting people from glamour world, and all the youth, like these two gentlemen, one is agriculture graduate, another is an MBA, and they have set up this aeroponic farm where they are growing cherry tomatoes. It's a linear project. This is one of the most important. This is again a proprietary product which we have developed for our projects. We call it like you have black box in the flight, we have black box for our greenhouses. This box, once you install with the sensors, it is collecting this data every 5 minutes and recording inside. So anytime, even after 6 months, you go and remove the memory card and put them onto your computers and just relate with the daily production with all the data you have. You will know how is your production trained with respect to this 4 major parameters, that is quantum light, carbon dioxide levels, temperature and humidity. This is another component which is used, which is thermal sequential controller. This is the one which plans the what cycle and what frequency of cycle should be offered to the aeroponic crop. You can see the lovely white roots coming on this linear system. Another advantage is when you grow a product in this kind of system, you are again consistently, and like table tomatoes, we see that there are times farmers are throwing them on the road. There are times we find it is very expensive. And this tomato is a product which is consumed by all the fast food chain on a regular basis. So if you can provide consistent 52 weeks production to any of this big fast food chain, with this technology, they love to negotiate with you for year-round contracts. And they are always ready to pay you premium because they are the professionally managed fast food chains. As I was explaining, a supermarket will not buy from you until unless they see what is your procedure you are following. So when they see your procedures here, appreciate it, and they also pay premium on your product. So these are the things which with time you achieve in this kind of projects. So here we come with the vertical aeroponics. Now we were talking of 15,000 plants per 1,000 square meter. Then we reached to 25,000. In NFT, we reached to 42,000. Here, we reached to 75,000 plants in 1,000 square meter area. Now, what advantage you get out of this? Number one, in 1,000 square meter greenhouse, if you go with normal NFT, you require at least 4,000 to 5,000 square meter greenhouse. So you require more number of fan, more number of fan, climate control, energy cost is on the higher side. Whereas when you have this kind of plant population, the energy cost for climate control per plant goes down almost by 30%. Then the labor cost, because it's a composite, so labor cost also reduces. You use less number of people to manage the same crop. And then you get higher productivity in this. The energy consumption, even for the nutrition, is far less than the other systems. Reason being that here you have intermittent supply based on the thermal sensors. So the pumps are not operating throughout, hardly 6 to 8 hours in 24 hours time. So that is another saving. So this is the technology. And above all, the most important thing is you are not limited to just leafy greens. You can grow even the fruity products in this technology. Strawberries can be grown very nicely in that. Right now, we are growing strawberries in the heart of city of Dubai in this technology. Cherry tomatoes, as I was mentioning, it's a vertical crop, but we have developed a technique, we call it thrust production technique. In this, what happens? We always have certain plants which are in the fruiting stages. You know, if you grow into a horizontal system, you have the production has to be 52 weeks from all the trees. But what happens? Those plants which are grown up, then you have to remove them and then wait for additional 2 months for new plants to grow. Here, what we do is we have a set of plants which are already in a production stage. When we find that it is now on the depleting time, we already plant the new ones. So by the time the old one has stopped, the new one starts giving production. So we maintain the continuity of production in this vertical system. Okay, this is a video. This is a small example of how it is being done. This we have a research and development center where we do all this. It is known as Center for Innovation in Vertical Farming and Training at Pune. Another important aspect is, as you know, these products are exotic greens and all are consumed as a salad products. Everybody looks at the organic product, but for us, we don't call it organic, we call it beyond organic. Reason being, in organic, when you grow these products in a soil, there is a possibility of getting certain pathogens, certain bacteria, and above all the dust which can fall on them. And then if it is in open air, there is a possibility of falling some aerosols which are being used by some neighboring farmer somewhere far. So in this system, we don't have any dust, we don't use any pesticide, and it grows up in the air. So we call ourselves step ahead of it. So all the chefs who are consuming it in the 5-star hotels, when they understand this, they prefer and they're ready to pay premium on this kind of products. So that is another advantage we get. We can grow different crops, as I mentioned. Globally, this market of hydroponics, this is the future farming we call it. It is going to be almost 18 billion US dollar market by 2026. Right now, it has reached to around 10.5 billion. And the aeroponics is also gaining popularity over a period of time. This is a small time lapse. I will do it a little faster so that you can see how the crop grows here. And you will try to understand the economics of growing on this. Sorry. This is day 26th, day 27th, and 28th. Now, what you could see here is In 28 days, if you have planted 75,000 lettuce heads, in 28 days to 30 days, your lettuce heads are ready to be sold in the market in 1,000 square meter. Now, if you look at the market price of lettuce in wholesale and retail you buy it at 50-60 rupees a head, whereas in the wholesale, the worst price you can expect is 20 rupees for a calculation purpose. It can be even 15, but even if you take 20, it is 75,000 into 20, that is 15 lakh rupees revenue potential in a month. That is 1.8 crores revenue potential in 1 year. I am talking revenue potential. You won't achieve it in India because these products are not consumed that frequently by our middle class, and it's still marketing is a challenge in India. But same product, if it is being grown in say US or in European countries where it's being regularly consumed, they have a very good proposition of revenue generation. So as against 15 to 20,000, you have 75,000. That is the advantage you get. This is the one which you had seen. It is in the heart of an industrial town where you have industry everywhere, but you are growing tomatoes in the heart of that industry. What you see, these two where the red mark is, they are the two greenhouses on the rooftop. All others are industries which are contributing to pollution, but these two guys are the ones who are bringing some fresh air to the environment. And it was set up by an electronic engineer, son, and father was the owner of that textile industry. You can see the various IPM measures have been taken. Cherry tomatoes. And another important product which can be grown on this is strawberries. Again, just imagine if you have strawberries being grown in a desert city, it can be grown anywhere. And this is thanks to the technology. And advantage here again is highest plant population. You grow in cubic meter, you don't go per square meter, because higher the warehouse, you can have higher productivity. Chilies you can grow wonderfully well. Right now we are working on ghost pepper, which is one of the most expensive chili on this grow system. So another name is 3D farming to this technology, and this is one of our farm. We call it farm, but it is in the heart of the city, where we have 4,000 square meter of warehouses, and we are giving everything which is required by the plant, be it light, be it temperature, humidity, CO2 levels, everything is monitored. So what you can generate here is from just 4,000 square meter, we can generate as high as 500 tons of leafy greens. Small glimpse. And we have utilized fusion here. Fusion means we have allowed the sunlight to come from the top and supplemented the light for the lower portion, so that the kilowatt hours consumed per kg of production is at the lowest level. This is the technology which we have already done. We call it Revoponics. What you see here, that strawberries are dancing around, they are rotating, and they are rotating around a light. So all the plants, they go to light, collect their light, and then move back. Instead of having 3 lights, we have converted it into just 1 light thanks to this technology. And rotation also gives you good ventilation to the plants. And this is the future where we will be developing this kind of models. This is my own balcony where we are growing the leafy greens, cherry tomatoes, chilies. So you have the requirement of your kitchen fed from your balcony, which is hardly 6 feet by 10 feet. So this kind of models is the future where we do urban farming. We train more, and a lot of training is required and passion is required for someone who wants to have this kind of technique to be adopted in their balconies. But this is what we see as future, because we are looking at independency, Atmanirbharta in everything. So you have your own electricity on the top of your rooftop. You can generate electricity, and at the same time you can grow your own vegetables on your balcony or in a limited area around your house. So I thank all of you for listening to me, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Yes, participants are requested to ask the questions, because as I am very much thankful to Dr. Sharma Saab for delivering a very nice lecture on the hydroponic towers, and particularly on the 3D hydroponic cultivation. That is really a great. And you have covered a lot of information as we wanted to see in your lecture. Cultivation of crops in the different colorful light, and you can say strawberry cultivation on hydroponics. Actually, we are also trying growing strawberry on hydroponic system, but due to the any failure, we could not get success. But we will learn more and more to grow better in near future. So I think from your lecture, I have got so many new, you can say, informations, and that will be help me for cultivating hydroponic crops in the better way. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I invite each and every participants to please, if you have any query in your mind, you are free to ask any questions, because our speakers are very learned, and they have a very vast experience in their field. So please ask. Any participants, please raise your hand. Dr. Anil. Dr. Anil.
सर सभी को allow किया हुआ है.
हाँ, is any query in the chat box?
No, sir.
No. Dr. Praveen Singh.
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Praveen Singh.
Yeah. Dr. Moria, I was just thinking to just chip in because ये थोड़ा सा हो क्या रहा है कि हमारे जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं ये मूक दर्शक बन जाते हैं, तो वो थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट होता है हैंडल करने में. So I would request everybody who is participating, it is really a good opportunity. You guys have to don't be furious कि गलत पूछ लेंगे या कुछ है, पूछना जरूरी होता है. So that's good. Praveen ji, I think we got in touch long back for DS project, if you remember.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we both are Praveen. एक जो हमारा पता नहीं, I don't know, it's maybe my thought process or something, जो ये वर्टिकल में अपना लाइट का होता है, कैन वी ऑल्सो ट्राई वर्टिकल with natural light, because we have plenty of a light available in India. So means, is there any possibility, or it is going to give a shade? And I'm talking specifically for the leafy vegetables which you mentioned. Yeah.
So that's a good question. And see, around the world, as on today, people think that vertical farming means there has to be artificial light and there has to be a lot of controls. But all our projects which we have done in India are with natural sunlight. They are into naturally ventilated greenhouse or greenhouse with fan and pad. but there is no artificial light used. So yes, this vertical grow towers do wonderfully well with normal sunlight, and that is what I was showing in the pictures. If you could have seen, should I repeat?
Not exactly, but my suspicion is only because as per my understanding on a physiology, that 90% of net photosynthate is produced during the morning sunlight. With that philosophy, with that technical thought process, means how this is the light balancing is, because one side of your tower is going to get a plenty of a light, another is might be is deprived with the sufficient light. So how one grower can handle that, and how it is going to impact the productivity or in that type of tower?
Yeah, it's a very good question. See what happens. Our experiences right now, one is that theoretical thinking, another is seeing practically what is happening. So what happens? We have a high fusion cladding material. So when the photons are broken and they become finer, so they have better coverage. Like in the old days, we were using the light bulb, and when you stand against the light bulb, you find a huge shade behind you. But as on today, when you stand in front of a tube light, the shade is not that much. Light photon particles are broken. So what happens when you have this kind of cladding material used? You find better diffusion of light and it is shared well. So right now, all the projects where we have done, we are able to cope up with that. Of course, orientation is very important. East-west orientation has to be such that morning and the evening sunlight is harvested well. We call that photon harvesting in this. So photon harvesting should be such that it intercepts most of the photons. It should fall on the leaf. So with that, we are able to get very good productivity.
That's great. And one more thing, is there any specific difference in a per plant productivity in tower, top and bottom or middle?
Yes, there is a variation because lower ones are a little deprived of light as compared to the top guys. So there is almost 10 to 15% variation from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm. And if I just compare that with flat kind of एक जो flat वाला system आता है, उसमें versus आपका जो tower है, इसमें productivity difference basically कितने % का अपने को मिल जाता है?
See, we have seen the lettuce heads. So number of lettuce heads, what you see here, straight away you have increased them by almost 5 times. So productivity goes as much as, it won't be 5 times, but comfortably 4 times you can achieve.
That's great. That's great. Good.
Yeah. Good to see Dr. Praveen Singh, and also Rajendra Kumar is there. Is he present, Rajendra ji?
Yeah, he's already there.
Dr. Rajendra. Yes, sir. I'm very much here. So thank you very much for such a such a knowledgeable presentation that you have done. You have combined the East and West, the advanced technologies and local innovations very well. Thank you very much, sir. It's a very good learning for all of us.
I actually, in the beginning, I didn't see that in the presenters you were there, but just I clicked on and I saw that you are there and I was so happy. And congratulations to Dr. Moria for inviting all the top guys in the business. And लोगों के लिए, the students who are there, it's a golden opportunity and none of them is asking questions. This is something little troubling. आप लोग भाग्य विधाता हो, अभी हम लोगों के पूरी धरती को आपको संभालना है अगले 30 सालों तक. कैसे संभालोगे?
नहीं, ये सब भी आ जाएंगे कुछ दिन के बाद. They will also be, maybe we can ask a specific people to respond If they are not responding, because
Hello.
we are being treated that way.
Hello.
हमारे भी मास्टर जी लोग जो थे वो पढ़ाते समय फिर उठाते थे, बेटा बताओ समझ आया कि नहीं आया.
Hello.
I can see someone is saying hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, go
Sir,
ahead.
there are some queries in chat box which are asking by participants. From Dr. Dipti Rai is want to asking, in India, where so much sunlight is there, can we use natural? It may reduce cost.
Please repeat the question, as voice was not clear.
Sir,
I think Dr. Deepti's question is already being answered.
Answered. It is answered that wherever there is sunlight, it is not worth to go for artificial light. And in India, we never recommend anyone to go with artificial light until and unless someone is looking for some research and development purpose.
Right.
Sir, one more question is there. Mr. Sana Fayaz, he was asking that what is the significance of hydroponics in climate change scenario? Is it better than soil-based agriculture techniques of climate smart agriculture?
So in the last class, when I was showing you an industrial zone, which is known for a lot of emission to our environment, and if you can have all the rooftops covered with this kind of greenhouses and where you grow vegetables on the top and do the industrial things below, it is definitely going to contribute in climate improvement. So yes, hydroponic has got a main role to play in urban farming. So, and as you people have already seen that we are doing it and we have to promote it a lot. I hope it is answered.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Let me add another opinion also, that what I feel, sir, that soil-based farming is prevalent wider for the centuries, and hydroponics is just assisting that because in the urban area or peri-urban area where we have a lot of a challenge in the soil, so in that context is becoming very important for us for future of farming in the urban area, but it is not a replacement of the soil-based farming.
Yes, it is not. It is not.
Excuse me, sir. There is one more questions. What is the optimum height of these vertical structures, or on what parameters it will depends?
The good thing was that I could show you two different types. One is which is being used in a normal naturally ventilated greenhouses in our country. So the structures are mostly say greenhouses of 6.5 meter at the crest and 4 meter at the gutter. So here these structures go as high as 3.2 meter, and you can manage them even with the help of a normal aluminum ladders. You don't need any scissor lift or anything. But when you look at the warehouse model, like the last one which we had shown you, the height was 7 meter of the top. So the warehouse is 9 meter, but we have gone 7 meter. And we can go to any heights in that. Only thing is we make the floors in between. So when you go 7 meter height, you have to use the scissor lift for going up and down and controlling your crop. So, and that is the advantage. We, as they call it, 3D farming means we try to make use of the available height which we have. So the height is no limit. Even if you have say Burj Khalifa and you want to cultivate it, you can do it in a step-by-step manner. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
I think Dr. Maurya, these participants, they have a fear kind of speaking because we can see good number of queries on the chat box, but we need to overcome that because उसमें कुछ होता नहीं है. अगर आप बस सोचोगे कि मैं बोलूंगा तो कुछ गड़बड़ हो जाएगी. मैंने भी वही किया था जब मैं पढ़ाई कर रहा था, मुझे कुछ फायदा लगा नहीं भाई. So maybe Raja Bhaiya is there as a guest. आप कुछ बोलो भाई. राजा भैया आप सुन रहे हो मुझे?
इनकी जिज्ञासा को जगाना पड़ेगा सर. ये कहीं ना कहीं पर ये इनके अभी भी दिल के कोने में कुछ है, डर है, फियर है कहीं ना कहीं।
राजा भैया।
हाँ भाई राजा भैया, आप कुछ बोलिए भाई, हम आपके साथ हैं। ऐसा नहीं है कि हम लोग वो ट्रेडिशनल वाले मास्टर हैं, हम लोग अर्बन ग्रोवर्स हैं, तो हम लोग सजा नहीं देते हैं।
हम सजा देते हैं।
हाँ, हम सजा देते हैं, वो हिंदी वाले में ब्यूटिफिकेशन वाला
सजावट।
यस राजा भैया, इफ यू आर मींस hearing me, you can just unmute yourself and speak. यार कुछ होता नहीं, बोलना चाहिए, come on. Or anybody else जो कुछ बोलना चाह रहा है. Today morning I had one good discussion with I don't know, Rupa or some girl. She was really good on what the professors shared, and पूरा वो technical knowledge अच्छा खासा बता रही थी. Hitesh, why don't you speak, Hitesh? And this is a common problem because whenever I used to take this lecture, most of the participants, I don't know, it's a drawback of online कि लगा के वो चले जाते हैं कहीं क्या? कि भाई सर ने बोला है वो ज्वाइन करना है, बाकी ज्वाइन करने के बाद सब घर में. संजय प्रकाश, आर यू देयर? संजय प्रकाश ऑन होल्ड है ये तो. हेलो संजय प्रकाश. Anyway, it's something like tough effort, but even then people are not coming forward to speak.
I think they are satisfied with what they have seen. You people explained well, and the objective was to expose them what is happening, and the top guys in the business. Praveen Singh is also a big name. राजेंद्र साहब को देख के दिल खुश हो गया बहुत दिनों के बाद. So thanks, and if you allow me, then I will take leave, or there is something more.
Yes sir, thank you very much sir, for being a very
yes, Vaibhav, you want to say something? Sorry, Dr. Maurya. Vaibhav, you want to say something?
Yes sir. I want
That's
to
great, Vaibhav. Good to hear. Chalo, batao.
Sir told us that he is already planting plants in his balcony. So is it possible for everyone, or we need to have some training, or will it be possible in future as a commercial purpose? Means your company will directly help people for planting trees in their balcony.
It's a very good question. You know, this balcony model, initially we had brought in 2014, and we had displayed very nicely grown strawberries at the South Mumbai, you know, Marine Drive in Mumbai, and so many people got interested, and we could sell almost 50 to 60 units in different balconies in Nariman Point. So we were very happy that we did good business, but because they took very ready product, ready crop was grown, and our team went and installed it. But after one crop was over, second, third crop, we started getting numerous calls from them. Some said, "अरे pump खराब हो गया." Somebody said, "ये तो आपके पत्ते पीले पड़ रहे हैं, इसका क्या करना है?" Then our team used to go and then visit and see that कहीं पे तो कबूतर आके खा के जा रहा है या उसके ऊपर गंदा कर रहा है, कहीं पे वो पानी चला दिया उन्होंने, लेकिन पानी है नहीं, वो पंप चालू है. So you became like an aquaguard guy, and you have to have a very good central call center where you have everybody is running around to control all that. So अभी हमने वो मॉडल को immediately उसके बाद बंद किया, लेकिन अभी what you saw in my balcony, what we have decided is we will have one day training on this, and then it is like, you know, on the exhibition you see a very nicely grown strawberries on a grow tower, and you want to have it. So it is like एक म्यूजिशियन गिटार बेच रहा है और बहुत बढ़िया गाना बजा के सुना रहा है आपको, तो आपको गाना अच्छा लगा तो आपने गिटार खरीद के घर चले गए, और घर जाके जब आपने उसी गिटार को प्ले करना शुरू किया तो वो तो टै 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 कर रहा है, गाना बज ही नहीं रहा है. रीजन बीइंग दैट यू फेल टू टीच द गाय हाउ टू प्ले गिटार. तो इसमें भी यही होता है कि आप अच्छा देखते हो और आप खरीद के ले जाते हो, बिकॉज लोगों को बड़ा पैशन होता है, वाव वाव करके ले जाते हैं, लेकिन फिर घर पे जाके नहीं होता है. लॉट ऑफ एक्टिविटीज इन्वॉल्व प्लांट प्रोटेक्शन, कीड़ों से बचाना है उसको, न्यूट्रिएंट का टाइम पे एप्लीकेशन करना है. It is better to train them and after that tell them it's your baby. We will not entertain any call from you. If you fail, it is you, and if you succeed, you are the boss. So that way, it is better to train and then hand over the hardware to them. So with that concept, we have, as I was mentioning, we have a for innovation in vertical farming and training. So we will be starting those trainings. There will be 1-day training, there will be a week training, and there will be 3-month residential training where someone can learn the total art of growing, along with the raising greenhouse and raising the system, operating, troubleshooting, everything. So yes, that is in the process, but your question was quite correct. People should be trained before they get into it, or they must have passion. There are many passionate people who are doing very well. Thank you. Any other question?
Training is must. Training
is very important.
Yeah, one more thing I like to add here, Praveen. Delhi government is seriously thinking to promote this urban farming in Delhi societies. And they are planning around 600 to 700 workshops in Delhi societies. Okay. And I was a part of some of their meeting, and it's still the conversation is on. So they already launched this yoga on call kind of a service. Okay. In urban farming, we are proposing to have urban farming cell on a similar kind of a model. So suppose like Weber is saying 5, 6 or 10 guys are there interested in hydroponics, Delhi government is going to support them for training them and implementing the whole balcony or terrace kind of a project. So they have already announced that project. Maybe by mid of April or first week of April, it is going to launch. So that's another prospect of this hydroponics, because every government is looking for now. Initially, it was like Rajendra was there to promote all these high-tech farming, and you were there. There was only few names. But now even not only the state governments, the central government is also promoting. So don't worry, Vaibhav. We all are there for sharing the knowledge and skill. Apart from that, the government is also coming forward for providing that type of skills and knowledge. Thank you.
That's very good to hear. Yes.
Praveen sir, one thing. If I am coming to Pune, will it be possible for, means not for me only, any of the participants to visit your company?
See, that's what I'm saying. They will be organizing that open houses and training sessions. And it is in the process. By first week of May, we will be releasing circular to all the agriculture universities and students also, so that you can come very officially and in an organized way, and you get some very good, valuable feedback when you go back. So right now it is just our in-house R&D center. So a lot of things keep on happening there. But yes, by May, we are determined to make it very official. So yes, it will be a good time for you to come post-May.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
कुछ और किसी के जिज्ञासा? ये बड़ा अच्छा प्लेटफार्म है. चलिए, ओके, थैंक यू. राजेंद्र जी भी जुड़े हुए हैं, तो सर गुड मॉर्निंग. बड़ा अच्छा लगा आप भी जुड़े आज, और कल वास्तव में बहुत ही अच्छा आपका लेक्चर रहा, और मैं बताऊं कि सबने बड़ी प्रशंसा किया आपके लेक्चर की. और वैसे तो जितने भी लेक्चर रहे हैं सब एक से बढ़कर के एक रहे हैं, सब ने बहुत ही अच्छी इन्फॉर्मेशन दिया है मेरे ख्याल से. और जो भी का अगर हम कंपाइलेशन करें तो वास्तव में पार्टिसिपेंट्स के लिए बहुत ही अच्छा रहेगा ये. तो मैं आपको भी बहुत बहुत मेरी शुभकामनाएं हैं सर. बहुत ही धन्यवाद देता हूं आपको कि बहुत ही अच्छा लेक्चर रहा कल का आपका. और शर्मा साहब को मैं विशेष तौर पर लंच का समय हो रहा है, धन्यवाद देता हूं कि बहुत ही अच्छा लेक्चर रहा, बहुत ही अच्छे हमारे इंटरेक्शंस रहे हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स के बीच में. तो हम फिर से जुड़ेंगे, अब लंच का समय है, तो मैं कहूँगा कि सभी लोगों को एक बार लंच के पहले की सबको धन्यवाद देता हूँ, जो लोग भी इस वर्कशॉप में जुड़े रहे। और मैं ये कोशिश करता हूँ पार्टिसिपेंट से कि जो लंच के बाद का सेशन है, उस सेशन में हमारे 2 लेक्चर्स होंगे। एक तो लेक्चर है हमारा डाइवर्सिफाइड यूज ऑफ द हाइड्रोपोनिक्स, क्योंकि हाइड्रोपोनिक्स केवल वेजिटेबल और या फ्लावर तक ही नहीं सीमित है, कुछ और भी क्रॉप्स ऐसी हैं जो कि हाइड्रोपोनिक के माध्यम से उगाई जा रही हैं। तो उसमें डॉक्टर दीप्ति राय जो कि काफ़ी अच्छा अपना एक तरीके से व्यूज रखेंगी, और मुझे उम्मीद है कि वो हमारे सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को अच्छा रहेगा। और इसके बाद जो बीच का समय है, कुछ राजस्थान में क्या हो रहा है उसके बारे में भी हम चर्चा करेंगे। और जो बीच का हमारे पास समय बचेगा उसमें जैसा मैंने बताया कि हम डॉक्टर प्रवीण सिंह से रिक्वेस्ट किए हैं कि जो उनके फर्टिलाइजर रेसिपी है और कैसे बनाएं, वास्तव में ये भी एक कला है वास्तव में, क्योंकि फर्टिलाइजर को अगर एक पर्टिकुलर ईसी और पीएच मान पर उसको उगाया जाए तो हम बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं। और वो हम प्रैक्टिकली देखेंगे कि मतलब किस तरीके से उन्होंने अपनी रेसिपी को डिजाइन करते हैं और किस तरीके का फार्मूले के माध्यम से वो बनाते हैं। और उसका प्रैक्टिकल जब देखेंगे तो ज़्यादा उसमें आनंद आएगा, क्योंकि मैं काफ़ी दिनों से जुड़ा हूँ और उनके माध्यम से जो सीखने की कोशिश मेरी यही रहती है कि जो भी कुछ पूरे दुनिया में कुछ हो रहा है सीखा जाए, कैसे सीखा जाए। क्योंकि जब हमने अभी हाइड्रोपोनिक्स शुरू किया था तो कुछ भी नहीं पता था, लेकिन आज हम कुछ कर रहे हैं तो आप सभी लोगों के बदौलत ही कर रहे हैं। तो एक बार सभी लोगों को धन्यवाद और सभी लोगों को लंच
ओके, थैंक यू मिलते हैं सर।
थैंक यू सर,
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू डॉक्टर मौर्य। बट उसके लिए जो अपना वो करेंगे हम लोग हैंड्स ऑन, वी वांट सम 2-3 वॉलंटियर्स जिनका कंप्यूटर पे लॉगिन हो और हम उनके लिए रेसिपी बनाएंगे। So volunteers can just approach and put in the chat box or maybe directly reach to Dr. Maurya, because उसके बिना मजा नहीं आएगा। तभी सही होगा जब एक कोई फर्स्ट हैंड करेगा।
तो इसके लिए पार्टिसिपेंट्स हम कहना चाहेंगे कि जो भी अपने कंप्यूटर से जुड़ना चाहते हैं रेसिपी के लिए, वो एक तो हमको चैट बॉक्स में एक तो मैसेज कर दें कि जिससे कि हमको अलाउ करेंगे स्क्रीन शेयरिंग के लिए। तो या तो मोबाइल के माध्यम से या जैसे भी इंफॉर्मेशन देंगे, जो लोग भी सीखना चाहते हैं वो दे दें। अदरवाइज तो अगर हम लोग तो वैसे भी शेयर करेंगे स्क्रीन, डॉक्टर प्रवीण सिंह अपनी स्क्रीन शेयर करेंगे, और नहीं होगा तो एक रेसिपी हम भी अपने तरफ से बना करके शेयर करेंगे, और उसके ऊपर जो भी डिस्कशन होगा कि रेसिपी हमारी सही रही या गलत रही। क्योंकि मैक्सिमम हमको फोकस ये करना है कि आप जो भी क्रॉप्स उगाना चाहते हैं, जिस ईसी का उसको फर्टिलाइजर सोल्यूशन देना चाहते हैं, उसके ऊपर डिस्कस करना है। और मेरे ख्याल से वो प्रैक्टिकली हम लोग सीखेंगे, ये बहुत अच्छा रहेगा। प्रवीण सिंह का एक बहुत अच्छा सुझाव है ये। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू
सर,
थैंक यू वेरी मच।
ओके,
थैंक यू वेरी मच।
ओके।
यही फालतू में नहीं आवाज क्यों नहीं पड़ी?
थैंक यू सर।
Button was